各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Hello everyone.
我们马上呢就到了我们的华人的春节了哈。
We are approaching the Lunar
咱们
New
这
Year.
个春节的很多规矩，如果懂得的话呢，
There are a lot of
就会
rituals
在
and rules,
新
and
的
if
一
you
年
know
哈
it,
就顺心顺意
you
顺
will
利。
have a smoother New Year.
如果不太懂的话，就应该来听一
If you
听，
don't know,
学一学，
this is an
让咱们
good
在新的一
opportunity
年
for
哈
you to
应
come
该
and
吉
learn
祥如意。
so that you will live a year with
我记得
auspiciousness.
小的时候啊，是最喜欢过年的哈。
I remember when I was young, I loved the Lunar New Year.
有个儿歌，小孩儿小孩儿你别馋，过了
And
腊
I
八
even
就
sang a
过年
song.
23糖瓜粘
There's a song that
24
says that on the 23rd of the 12th lunar month, there are certain specific ritual to do.
大年初一扭一扭，说的真好，
不愧是诗人。真挺好听。
我们过完了腊八嘛，这是到23糖瓜粘。为什么从23开始数？
So actually on the 23rd, it is important
过小年了。
because it's considered as the
倒计时了。
little new year. So you actually look and count down to the new
过
year.
年的具体行动了哈。
对对对。
So you start all the activities to welcome the Lunar New Year.
糖瓜粘。
I remember on the 23rd, we talk about melting sugars.
对，糖瓜就是哎老粘嘴了。
So it's very sticky. The sweet is super sticky.
我吃过，我特别喜欢吃。
I've eaten, I've tasted this before, this sugar candy.
咖啡色的，
They have different type of flavor,
形状的叫糖瓜。
and they're shaped like a pumpkins.
反正还有各种。
And there are some that's long sweets. There are different shapes.
小孩去买回来呢，
And a lot of
赶紧就得先得
adults will bring the kids to go
偷吃两口，对。但实际上
to
它
buy.
不光是给小孩吃的，是买回来要
Actually, this is not just for the children.
灶王爷、灶王
It is something that they offer to the kitchen god.
灶王爷灶王
Melting
奶
sugars is offered to the kitchen god, and it also marked the arrival of the spring
这个
festival.
很重要哈。
很重要。
Well, that is very important.
对
为啥要吃糖呢？
But why do you want to eat the sweet?
天要给灶王爷爷、灶王奶奶吃糖。
Why is it that it's important to offer to the kitchen god and kitchen goddess?
想替网友问一下，请教一下师傅。
So, Master, I want to ask you, why is it that
所谓的这个灶王爷是谁呢？
who exactly is this kitchen god?
那其实每个地方的说法不同哈。
Actually, the saying is different depending on the locations.
灶神。
这个灶呢，就是咱们煮饭的。
So, this
这
kitchen
一套
god
比如上头架着锅，
is
底下生着
actually
火
like
是吧
stove.
这个东西
He
叫
actually
灶
take care of the stove.
那今天包括煤气灶，
Even today, we
灶
use the
是吧
gas.
哎
It's
都
the
是用这
same.
个灶
So it is the
现在也
same
有人把这电
character.
磁炉是吧？煤气炉。
Even those that
其
use
实
a
中
hot
国传统
plate,
叫法呢
it's also the same.
叫
That's
灶
where you do your cooking.
哎，对，
这个灶这儿还得有个神。
So
其实呢，
in the Chinese
它
character,
呢
there is
灶
a
王
god
爷
in
哈
it.
灶王奶呢是管着这个，你想
Well,
煮饭
the kitchen god and the kitchen
哎我们的
goddess
工作
take
劳
cares
动
of it.
辛苦啊，是吧？流血流汗，其实为了就是一
Why
家
do
一
we
饭
work so hard? We work hard so that we be able to bring food to the table.
哦，他们家里的福神。哎，你有福啊！
So you can consider them as good fortune god as well. Because you have good fortune, that's why you have food to
家
eat.
里的福神。所以灶王爷这生意兴隆的话呢，
So if the kitchen god is auspicious and has good business, it just represents that the family has abundance of food.
敬灶王神哈。
对，
So that's why it's important for us to worship the kitchen god.
这一年来给我们一家
And when we offer it,
哎对，
offer to the kitchen god, we ensure that we have food during the entire year.
辛苦工作一整年，
对，
辛苦工作一整年，但是也感谢这个灶神带给
So,
我们这些福祉利
indeed,
益。
This is also a time for us to offer to kitchen god to thanks for the food that we have on the
民
table.
俗神性角度来说哈，说如果你不走运，哎，
Say,
你
for
虽然
example,
很
you're
忙
not
很
lucky,
累
if you're
但是
very
挣不到
busy
钱没有空
and you're very tired, you make no money.
对，
哎，对，
是。
所以灶王爷呢，哎，能带给我们这个财
Why?
富
So
哈
actually,
带给我们
this
这个一家人的饮
kitchen
食
god will be able to bring us abundance, bring us food,
那师傅啊，
to ensure that the family has food on the
8月
table.
23这天要给灶王爷爷、灶王
So,
奶奶
Master, what do we do on the 23rd of the 12th
这个说
lunar
法很有
month?
意思哈，哎， 反正民间一直是这么传说的。
So this is very
就是让
interesting.
他
This is
上
something that has
天呢，
been
这
passed
阎王
on
爷要
from
对天啊
generations.
灶王爷，
So
灶
there's this
王
saying
爷
that on this day,
灶王
the
爷
kitchen
灶王
god
奶奶就
the
上玉
and the
皇大帝
kitchen
那里
goddess,
去汇报工作。
they will report
腊月23
to
上去，
对，
will return to
如果
heaven
谁
on
家
this day
他住在
to
谁家
report the
就
family
汇报
deeds
谁
and
家
moral
的
standing.
善恶吉凶好坏。
哦，
哎，
就上那个玉皇大帝那儿。
没错了。
啊，玉皇大帝每年的工作总结会是腊月23。
So basically,
对，
is the
比
conclusion
如
is
说
just
这
marking
这
the
灶王爷、灶王奶奶
accumulate the results for the
23号也
year.
是上玉皇大帝那汇报工作。
嗯，
哎，说觉真啊，这真是个好人。
哦，
积德
So the
行善
report
又
to
一
say
整
that,
年。
well, for example,
为人
Jason
又
is a good
好
person,
啊
you
又
have
大
accumulated
方
good deeds, so the
又
kitchen
热
god will
情
report
又
to the
善
heavenly
良。
god that
哎，
you have been a
希
good
望
person,
老天爷降
and
吉祥。
hopefully the heavens will
哎，对
哎呦，
bestow
那人
good
说这么
fortune
多
to
好话，
you.
我可得多给点糖啊。
对，
Well,
所以
since
呢，
he's going to say so
给
much
这
good
个
things about me,
灶
it's
王爷、灶
important
王
for me
奶
to
哈
offer more
这种
sweets.
供糖哈，和往嘴上
Indeed,
抹
you want
糖
to offer
就是
sweet
到了玉
to
皇
the
大帝
kitchen
那呢，
god and
就是
goddess,
上天言好事，
so that when
哎，
they go
下
to the
地呢降
heaven,
吉祥。
and they will be
哎，把
able
糖
to
抹给
bring
他。
all the
哎，对对
will be
对，
able
就是
to
有这个意
say
思
put a
哈。
good words for
但
you.
这是给神的哈。
对，
其实
So this is
买
actually for
糖这
the
天也开
deities.
始哈，其实呢，就是我们在过去的时候啊，并不
Actually,
是每
in
一
the
个百姓
past,
家，你平时过日子都有糖吃。
you have food, you have
不是这样
sweet
的。
to eat, right?
哎，对，所以呢，也是过年才有糖吃。
So most of the
通常都
time,
是给小
people
孩
only
子
start to
吃。
eat sweets
嗯，
during the Lunar
我
New
见过
Year.
老人爱吃糖啊。
啊，
在这个你这个经济比较贫困的时候啊，
So when
这
you
老人
are
也
quite
是缺
poor,
少营养，
对
你给一块糖也是特别开心。
对，
they a lot of old
其
folks
实
they
我觉
lack
得还有一个，
nutrients,
你吃了
and
糖
even
之
if you
后
give
啊，
them a sweets, they are very
我感
happy.
觉到哈，就有种幸福感。
I feel that a lot of times
女
when
生
someone
尤
eat
其
the
是这样
sweets,
的。
they feel very happy.
啊，
There's a sense of happiness when they've been offered the
对，
sweet.
这
Is it the
很多
same for
已经
ladies?
年龄不小
Yes.
的，你18岁以上的哈，
A lot of
可能女
people,
生经常
and
说
there are people that
吃个
in
糖啊，
above
吃个
18
巧
years
克
old,
力啊，
they like to
吃个
eat
小蛋糕
a
啊，
small dose of
吃这
candy,
些
some
味道都是
sweets,
甜的嘛，
some cakes,
它
or
就是有
even
幸福感。
chocolates.
对，
哎，就是男生还麻木一些哈，
Actually, for
男
guys,
生
they're
比较
quite
娇气的
indifferent.
哈，有点娘娘腔的，也是爱吃甜的哈。
But there are some
啊，你说的你
guys, they
脸
are
红什么？
more
对，所以有，
inclined
但是多
towards
数女
the
生还是比
feminine.
较
They
喜欢
like to
吃
eat
糖的
sugar,
哈。
是，
sugary
对，
stuff
就
as
是有
well,
那种幸福感。
嗯，
because the sugary
哦，
stuff
所
will
以
bring
就
a
是给
sense
这个
of
糖
happiness.
给灶王爷爷、灶王奶奶
对，
啊，就是说让他们的嘴甜
So
甜
the
蜜蜜的，
the reason why
对，
offering
好
the
的
sweets
心情。
对，有幸福
to
感。
kitchen
啊，
god
哎，见了玉皇
and
大帝呢，光
kitchen
说好
goddess
事
is so that when they report to the Jade
对，
Emperor,
这是不是有
then
点
you will
贿赂
bring
啊？
the
是吗？
也
family's
不
good
是啊，
fortune for the
这
coming
是
year.
这是你供养啊，
啊，
哎，你作为家人哈，
感恩，
感恩
So
啊，
it's
感
actually
恩
a
我可以
form of
供养，
gratitude.
供养我家的福神，这哪叫贿
It's
赂？
a
如
gratitude
果
and
你称为
offer
贿赂
to
的
the
话，我觉得
deities
也
of the
是吉
house.
祥的贿赂，
啊，
那非常好的。
好，我们还就是正心正念的，就是
对
感恩恭敬
So
啊，
it's
灶王
important
爷、
for
灶王
us
奶
to
奶
have
啊，对
the
啊，
right
好的
thoughts
好的。
and with
那
gratitude
那现在
to
我们
make
的家
to
庭中好
as a
像
sign of
很少有
respect.
供这个神位
But
在
I think
在那个厨房那个
increasingly
灶神那儿
in the
哈
modern society, there are
对
few
不
people
懂
that
我
actually
们中
have
国啊，
the
经过了这个文革
offer
哈
to
之后
kitchen
呢，就是
god.
好像过去传统的东西
Yes,
啊，
in
就
fact,
不能倡
after the
导，
cultural
倡导
revolutions,
呢就
a
觉得
lot
你
of
是
these
个
traditional
很低俗的
rituals
人，
迷信呐，
封建
were
迷信
gone
之类的
because they feel
那
that
大
these
家也
are
不懂。
these
比
are
如你
not
到了韩国、
relevant.
日本，同样是东方文化啊，
嗯，
它哪怕小，它在这个厨房里头，如果该供的这个厨神、灶神之类的哈，它一样供，是这样。
哦，
对对对，
哦，
它可以把这个画片做
So
小一些。
actually, what they
如
can
果
be done is that
啊，
if there is
到中
no
国就好
kitchen
像
god
这些传统
portrait
文
at
化
home,
这诚实，
how to
对不对？
perform the
诚去
ritual,
找，
you can draw
哎
the
对，
kitchen
所
god
以
and
人家
kitchen
就有传
goddess.
统文化，咱们也是传统文化，得去现翻书现找去。
So they
哎，
can
对对
find
对，
the
磨
pictures
练。
of it.
对。
是，
对，
那从今年开始，既然师傅讲了哈，
So
我们
from
要
this
感
year,
恩这个灶
since
王爷、
Master
灶王
says
奶
that
奶
we
新
need
年
to
给我们
offer
带来
to
的
kitchen
这种
god
啊
and
幸福的
kitchen
生活
goddess,
啊，我们要感恩，要恭
we
敬
need to have
啊。那
gratitude.
我们看来今年到小年23的时
I
候
think this year we have to do
要
that.
祭拜灶
我觉得
王
挺好的
灶王
对
I
爷
think that's
啊
good.
对对对，
对，那师傅，我们家里如果现在还没有这样子的，
So
就是
Master,
目前
if
没
there
有
is
灶王
no
爷
kitchen
开
god
的
portrait
手
at
摊
home,
或者是画的话，我们
how
怎么样
there's no
来
painting?
就是给灶王爷爷供
How
堂
do we
啊
perform the
在
ritual?
过去哈
啊，
我们像比如说在河北省的
In the
家乡，
past, when I
可
was
能
in
年龄比较
Hebei,
小，
I was
那个
quite
印
young
象
then.
啊，
My
这个灶王爷、
impression
灶王
is
奶奶
that
没有神龛，
the kitchen god and kitchen
它就
goddess,
一个神像，
因为我们是普通人家嘛，
there's no
普通人家
specific
没有那种
portraits
比较
because
考
we're
究的
just
房子，
对
a
对对
它就
normal
是那时候古
family.
代来，不是过去来说，就是木板印制的，看似很民俗哈，传统印刷之中的这么一张纸。
So that
上面
time
印着
there
两个
was a
形
printing, a piece of
就是
paper
灶王爷、灶王奶
with the pictures of
对
kitchen
它就是
god
贴在
and
我
kitchen
们过去的
goddess.
时候，就是那个炉灶旁边
In。the past, is
但是那个
placed
传统
beside
房
the
子的炉
stove.
灶哈，它
But the
在这
traditional
个这个
house
炉灶的灶台上头是看
at
不见火的。
the stove
在下头。
area,
错了，
对，
you
是
don't see
哎
the
对
fire because the fire
所以呢
is
就可以
at
贴在那个炉
the
灶旁边
below.
对，
那现在咱们
So you can actually
现
place
在
it
家
quite
庭
close to
这
the
种煤
stove.
气灶啊，电
So
磁
what do
炉
we
啊
do
那个就
now?
不一样了。
Because now
它
the
能
stove
火在
is
上头
different.
然后上头再做
There are
锅
some
容易把旁边的这个哈
that use gas,
有多多少少有点小风险。
but because of
那
how
刚才我们
how our
看
stove
到
is
我们
set
这个
up
大
now,
屏幕上
there's
出的
some
这样的
risk.
画像哈，如果要是贴的话，
So if they were to
贴到哪儿
paste,
贴的，反正怎么也得在厨房里，是
it
吧？
has to
对吧
be in the kitchen, right?
是现在来说哈，
嗯
因为多数人家哈在城市里头，
Yes, because
今天的
now
中国
most
的
people
像农村乡下
in
也
the
用的是煤
most
气
people
哈
live in the
是方
cities.
便嘛，
但是呢，坏处是
明火在
这个
上面。
火是挨着锅的。
对，
对
现在这个锅呢，
So
就
now
是
the fire is very
直接明
close
着火
to the
上
pot,
嗯，
which is
所以
on
呢
the stove
这个灶
itself.
王爷、灶王奶这个画像啊，
So that's
不能
why
挨着炉灶。
the pictures you
我觉得
cannot
厨
place
房的安
on
全
the
地方
stove. You have to place
远离
in
火
a
源
safe place.
远
You
远
want
离
to
炉
be
灶
far away
啊，在
from
你比如说厨
the
房的一
fire.
侧，
嗯，
或者那个墙上头啊，
Maybe
或
you
者是
have
那
a
个橱柜
wall
的柜门上头。
you
都
can
可以
place on
可
the
以
wall
但是不
or
要靠
on
近
the
那
door
个
of
炉
the
灶的那个
cupboard.
灶
You
火
don't want to place it too
那个灶
close
火一旦
to the
出来
stove
它纸本来就易燃物嘛，
because
所以
there
你
is
不
the
能靠近
the fire
纸和火
the
啊
fire will burn the
那太
paper.
危险了啊。
So it's actually
哎
cause some
那
risk.
咱们呢
It's actually
给大
fire
家设
hazard
计
if
了
you
一个
place
对
the
一个
paper
贴
very
纸，大家
close
可
to
以
it.
如果你觉
So
得需要
we
的话
have
呢，你也可
designed
以把它
this
打
the
印一下哈。
you can
如果
actually
你需
print it
要的
out.
话啊，如果不需要的话，
For the
你就
kitchen
知道
god
一下就行了。
And if you don't need it,
需要
you
需
just
要
need to
是
know
吧
about this.
我觉
好那
得灶王爷很
对
重要
我们
嗯
把这个贴到那个厨房里边哈，然后是在腊月
So we
23
can
的这一
paste
天
in the
对
kitchen
是不是还有具体时
and
辰吗？
on the
如果要是
on the 23rd
这个
of
祭
the
拜
lunar 12
怎么
months,
说拜谢这
you
个
can
灶
do
王爷
it.
灶
But
王
is there
奶
some
这
specific
个
rituals that we
凡
must
是
observe, like
与
time?
神灵哈相
Any
沟通
things
的时候
that when you want
除
to
了30晚
communicate
上哈
to
是晚上之
the
外呢，一
deities,
般都是在上午。
you do it in the
哎
morning,
前师傅说
except
上午
on
及时上午
the
10点钟
30th
12
of
点之前
我觉
the
得8
lunar
点
12
10点都
months.
行。
You
哦
can do it on
但
the 8
是最好
o'clock
不要停留在
or 10
11 点
o'clock.
啊。
Do not do
11
that
点并不是那么
at
最好啊。
11.
对对
At
对，
11
尽
a.m.,
量也别
that's
跑到
not
12
so
点，
good.
我觉得
And do
10
not,
点钟，最晚10点钟就行。
you want to
10
do
点
between
半都行
8
好
to 10
那我们
or
摆上那个
10:30.
糖瓜，现在城里可能都不一定买到糖瓜呢。
Actually, now we may not be able to
其实麦芽糖
find
现在好
those
像不太好买。
the
买
malt
巧克力行不？
sugar. Can we buy
嗯
chocolates
它就不同
instead?
口味的
Because
糖嘛，
you
不
can't
是
find
对，反
the
正就是
sugar
让它甜甜蜜
melon.
蜜的嘛哈。
对，对
Yes, you can give
巧克力
chocolate
呀
as well,
芝士糖啊
or other type
反正
of
这种
sweets,
好
other
吃的
type
哈
of
这样的
candies.
糖哈
对
蜂蜜是不是也行啊，师傅？
What about honey,
甜
Master?
呐，可以，还
It's
黏
sweet.
呢。
就是你不能直接拿蜂蜜往嘴上抹。
Well,
那
you
个
cannot
我在
use
想拿蜂
honey
蜜
and
给
place
灶王爷、灶
directly.
王奶奶的那个画
Well,
像
I'm
上抹
thinking
用
that
啊
I can
少抹一
actually
点，别
offer
抹多了
to
哈。
kitchen god and
哦
有时候
kitchen
真抹多了
goddess
哈，你不当天处
by
理的话，
giving
稍
the
麻一点哈。
honey
所以
on
这个注
the
意点啊。
picture on the portraits.
对对对，就说到这
Well,
儿
you
咱
have
们
to
这
do
个祭
something
拜了
about
我
it
们也
after that
也感
because
恩了，也磕
otherwise
头了哈
it will
然后
attract
哎也抹上点糖
insects.
啊蜜呀哈，然后我们怎么知道灶王爷爷、灶王奶奶
But
就上去汇报去了呀？
how do we know
哎
that
它是一个规矩，
the kitchen god,
你不一
kitchen
定你看得
goddess
见它
will
飞升的过程啊。
嗯，
这神
report
灵
in
就
the
就去了，
to the heaven?
就是这样子啊。
Well, this is
但是
just
呢，
a
只是我们
ritual.
要做一个事情，
This is
就
what we
是
do,
当天呢，
and that is
就是
on the
23
day
当天哈，
on the
将这
23rd.
个灶王爷、灶王奶这个画像贴的这个纸的画像，
嗯，
通常呢，再配合上一些像过去哈，
Before the
配
kitchen
上那
god
个
and
过去
kitchen
人们
goddess
以为
portraits.
行动最快的是骑着马呀。
对
A lot of
哎，
people
所以
in the
还有
past
人
think
是
that people
专门
drive.
印制的那个，哎，灶王爷骑马，或 或者是马的
they
这个
call,
画
I
像
mean, they ride
对
on
对对
horse.
一起，
真的一起
So some even
啊
have
就把它
pictures
给
of
烧了
horse riding and they burn
知
it
道了
at the
咱们
same
就会靠
time
这样
就
啊
送上
送上
to
上
send
天了
to the
对
heaven.
你不送他也走，但是规矩大概就是这
So
样的。
that is pretty much the
送一
ritual.
送对吧？客人还得送呢，何况是咱家的神呢？
对，
哦
对，到时候烧的时候还得这个，
So when you burned,
嘴里还得说着吧？
尤其是在烧之前在墙上的时候啊，
啊
往
before
这个灶王爷这个画像
you
上这个
burned,
嘴周边儿
啊，
抹糖哈，
you want to
抹
put
糖
some
抹蜜的时
sugar
候呢，
at
通
the
常
mouth
好
of
多
the
老人家还
of
是
the
会念念有词的，
kitchen
哎，
kitchen
对
goddess
就
portraits.
是说好话多
Maybe
说
you
不
say
好的
some
别
good
说啊
words
对对对
like, oh, please
就
put
是
some
大
good
约这
words
种
for
口
me.
头语就是，是吧？
对，
哎，我这年年供奉你哈，
I
哎
offer
你
to
呢
you
一定要保佑
every
我哈
every
保佑我
year.
们全家
Please protect
哎
me.
有
Please
饭
protect
吃
my
有
family
福气
so that we have
对
good
大
food,
概
we
你
have
想
good
的这个幸福的事情
fortune.
都可以唠叨了。
So anything good you can think of, you
那
may
说的
want
时
to
候是
say
不是
that.
也得唠叨几句啊？
对，都可以，就不同的人不同的唠叨法。
哦，
哎，
So
对，
different people have
在
different
过
way
去
of
烧的时候
saying
有这
it.
个阎王爷、阎王奶的这个画像，
灶王爷
这个灶王爷、灶王爷哈，哎，这个画像，
So in the
还有
picture,
指的马啊
there are
或
also
者是
pictures of
印在上面的马
horse
啊，
啊，对，
printed
也有
horse,
人
and
在
they burn
农
it
村的话
together.
就喂马的草料，
都备
Some
好
even
麦
have
草啊
straw,
啥的，现
the
在
straw
城市
to
是没
feed
必要
the
这样
horse.
啊，反正有马啊，
So
如果没
anyway,
有马
people
也可
don't
以
go to
好
that
吧
detail
马
these days,
其实神
but
灵
it's good
啊
to have
他
horse,
上天入
printed
地的
horse.
不用骑马呀。
对，要不我还想问呢，我说这灶王爷骑马几天到天上啊？
So I
对
want to
带着草
ask how
料
many days does
对
a horse
其实人
travel
家
to go to
杵就
heavens?
倒了，对吧？
Actually, if they're deities,
因
it's
为
in the
古人
moment.
他没有，没有像现在哈，就现在如果说在前几年可能得能画出阎王爷骑摩托是吧？
灶王爷
啊
骑摩托
灶王爷
车
骑摩托之类
Well,
的
if it's
啊
past few
这
years,
个
you may
你
have
后
the
来也得
kitchen
是
god
要
riding
坐
on
火箭
motorcycle
对
啊，坐飞机，
or even
哎
take an aircraft.
宇宙
那
飞船，
对，所以古人认为最快的就是骑着马。
So in ancient
啊
time,
骑
they
着马
felt
呢，马
that
跑累了怎么办呢？加
horse
点
is
草料，
very
他就是这么想。
is the fastest mode of
没有的
transport,
原
and
现
that's
在
why
的这
they
个灶王
printed
爷呢，
the
就
pictures of
是
horse and they
只
burn it to
是
offer
就是
to
不需
the
要那
kitchen
样，
god.
他随时说走就走了，因为神
Actually,
灵哈，
offering
神灵
put
的速度
offering
是意
this
念的
and
速
the straw
度。
may
哎，他
not
去
really
哪
be
里不需
necessary
要
is
非得有个
because
燃料，
the
有个机
deities'
器或者有
travel
马
speed
带着他
is
走
like
啊，
lightning.
这个还是不
And
一样的哈，哎，
It's probably not so critical.
有些地方它有的在烧的时候还
But
念念的那
some
个歌
place,
词哈，
they
但
even
是我
have
相
some
信很
songs,
多没
some
有人画
ritual.
记也记不住，
But I
啊
can't
对，
remember
真
the
记得多，
details of
你
it.
那个爷爷奶
我
奶
看到一段儿那
啊，
就是说啊，今年又到23，
I have
敬送
seen
灶
some
君上
before.
西天，有
It's
壮马，
like
有
this year
草
has come
料，
to
一
the
路顺
23rd
顺
day.
风平
We
安到，
respectfully
供
send the
的
kitchen
糖瓜
god to
甜
the
又
western
甜，请
heaven
对玉皇
with
敬
strong
好
horse
言。
and plenty of
啊
orders. May you
对
have a
这个
safe and
很
smooth
多大
journey
老
all
头
the
没文
way.
化，你这一套还他的背的话挺艰难哈，
啊，但
哎
是人家自己都会讲，这
大概就这个意思
对
But
对对
basically, that's
就
the
重在
meaning,
于
the
领
essence
会
of the
啊，
meaning.
不在于填
It's
歌词，
important for
是吧？
you
哎，
to
对，
try to understand it
嗯，
哎呀，
rather
挺
than
好的
trying to
其实
remember
这个时
the
候就开
lyrics.
始就是挺幸福的了哈，因为先把糖都买回来，家里小孩儿首先是受益的，就
I
开
think
始
everybody
吃
is
了
happy
哎
because now, especially the young kids, because
是不
the
光是
parents or
供
the
这个灶
adults
王
have
爷
bought
哈，就是
candies.
家里的孩子其实最沾光了，就是
对，最
Actually,
闪光
during
所
this
以
time,
跟着
the
老人
kids
去
are
赶集
very
哈，
enjoyable
过年
because
的
they
集的
love
话，就是首
to
先
see
就
so
买
many
糖吃。
对
candies.
呀啊，因为我都记得小的时候就特别喜欢就这个时候，
I remember when I was young, I
爷爷
really
领着
liked
然
this
后上街
period.
上就买各种糖，
And
顺
we
便什么
buy
喜
different
欢的
type
其他
of
的，哎，爷爷
sweets,
买个这个吧，
different
爷
type
爷
of
买个那个吧
candies,
一块儿都买回来了，过年了嘛哈，
because
对
we
高
are
兴了，
trying
孩
to
子
look
就喜欢
forward
吃
to the
糖
new year.
那师傅啊，这个灶王爷升上天去跟玉帝汇报了。哎，那我以前好像也听说过，那玉皇大帝是不是就会派一些天神下来？
So,
然后
Master,
来
does it mean that
确保
this
人间
Emperor
还是比
Jade
较
will
安宁
send some
的，没有什
deities,
么邪
heavenly
灵啊、恶魔呀、
guardians,
兴风作浪这样子的。
something
对
like that?
啊，
这个大家再讲清楚
Celestial
哈，你
soldiers?
的问题 特别好。
That's a
给
good
大家再介绍
question.
呢，其实这个灶王
Actually,
爷呢，他 灶王爷、灶王奶哈，
The kitchen
按标
god
准来说的话
and
呢，
the
它
kitchen
是有这
goddess,
个有2个侍者，
they are actually
哦
有
two
2个工作人员，
哦
person
俩秘书
working with them, two
你都
messengers
可以吧，
with
叫
them.
啥都行。在最古代的画像之中哈，
In the
这
ancient
这2个
picture,
侍者呢，
these
就
two
是灶王爷、灶王奶啊，这左边一个，右边一个，各站着侍
there's
者，
one
手
on the
里呢
left and one on the
就抱一
right.
个罐子，
The
这个罐
attendants,
子呢
they
是有讲
carried
究的，
two pots.
一个叫善罐，
One
一
is
个叫恶
kind
罐。
deeds
这
pot,
罐子的罐，
and these two deities,
善
the
就是
like
指代的说善
attendants
良嘛，
deities,
一个
one is
是
a good
作
deed
恶的
pot, and the
恶
other one carry
恶
an evil
恶的
deeds
恶罐
pot.
但是
They
你做的这
record
个事
the
儿呢，就
family
装在这个
deeds
罐子
in
里。
them.
哦，
哎，这灶王爷上去汇报的时候哈，
So when
就
kitchen
带着
god
他的侍
report
者啊，
to
都
Jade
是神
Emperor,
啊，就一
the
起
two attendants are
玉
also
皇大帝那儿
deities.
哎，就像你挣了几个钱和收了几个钱一样，都在罐子里都有
So
记
all
录，
the money that you
哎，所以
earn
倒出来，哎，你说
is
做
also in the
几件
pot.
好事儿，几件恶事，
They'll be
哎，都
able
在
to
那记着。
accumulate the good deeds that you've done
就比如
and
说，
the
哎呀，
evil
看觉
deeds
真他们家
that you've
觉真
done.
哦，这件是好事儿，这个帮了个人啊，那边什么
It's
啊，
something
借
like,
人
oh,
的
you've done
钱
some good
救了
deeds,
个
you have
灾，
helped
救了
someone.
个穷。这边呢也不行，那天发火骂人了，对，就是这种哈。
反正人家记录方法咱不知道，
So we do
反
not
正
know
你做
how
的
they
是
do
真正的
the
属于善
recording,
的。
but
我觉
if
得
you
平
do
常骂
deeds
一句
that are
人这个东
good,
西解了个气，倒也不至于说他就是个
then
罪
you will
恶
be
哈。
put into this
伤
pot
害
as well.
啊，
真正的就是算是恶贯里面的东西呢，就是伤害的。
伤害
By the evil
对吧？
deeds, you
害
have
人
all
利
the
己的
harms
事，
that you've done to
偷东西
others,
对呀
啊，对
对，就是诈骗呐啥的，
对，
like
是吧？都
cheating.
是这些是害人利己嘛。
So these are
对
all bad，
所以呢
deeds.
这一起的哈，对，
So
所以
all
呢，这个
this will
把
be
你的善恶
accumulated
都
and
记录在里
recorded.
头。
哦，
对，
善罐恶罐，所以就是平时咱们做了啥
平时
都瞒不过
So
灶王爷、
what
灶
we
王奶
do,
哎，这个时候我记得
it
我
will
们
be
古代有一个
recorded.
成语叫恶贯满盈，听起来不
刚
好意思。
才也想说呢，
哎，罐子恶贯满盈，这其实就是指这个灶王爷旁边的侍者之中端恶罐的哈。
都满了，都
哎，
冒出
这里头你
来了。
今年干了太多坏事
So
了
if a person
啊
done too
对
many
干了
bad
太多
deeds,
了，都冒出来了。
then
叫恶
the
贯
evil
满盈
deeds pot will be
要不哪来这
overflowing.
个词啊？就是从这儿来的。
这个
So
话
there is
好的
actually this
但是咱们
phrase
听说
in
过这个
Chinese
善贯满盈
that talks about someone
一般
who
都
done
不
a
这么
lot of
用
bad deeds.
对
They use
对
the term like evil deeds pot overflowing
啊，那刚才
means
就
to
说到这
represent
个
that.
这个两位神仙就上天去汇报工作了，
对，
然后呢，玉皇大帝昆提师姐说，玉皇大帝又派代理的下来，还得看看人间的情况。
对，就是从23呢
So
开始
actually from the
啊
23rd
就是
onwards,
华人呢就进入这个过春节的这个
we have
过年
started to
状态
count down to the
哎
Lunar
这
New
个时
Year.
候呢，就是按照古代的传说哈，就是众神下界，
And during these
众神下
times,
凡
all
就
the
来到人间
deities will come
哎，
to
直接也会
the
等于玉皇
moral
大帝啊
realms,
直接派天神来
and
走访
even the
本相
heavenly deities will come
哎，
on
看
earth
是不是真
to
的
inspect
啊？说的是那
what's
么
going
好，
on.
或者说的那么差，哎，他派一些神灵啊，几乎到每一家
So almost
去
every
体验
house
生
will
活
have the heavenly
去直
guard,
接
descend
面对
upon
面的
them
让他去感觉你是个好人还是坏人，
and they will sense
接
whether you're a
观察
good
来了。
person
直接
or
观察。
bad person.
哎，就是不光
They
是
will
不光
observe
听
you.
这个灶王爷的哈，
So it's
哎
not
他
only
派
the
其他
the
神
kitchen
灵直接来
god,
体验生
they
活。
are also the celestial
可要好好
God
表现。不是他
and
们来的不就
deities
这
as
几
well.
天儿嘛？他前头他也没看见呢，所以这几天儿我们得赶紧装，对吧？
也是。
Well, does it mean that these few
为啥
days
这
we
几
have to
天
keep doing good
直接
deeds?
是这个玉皇大帝派神来呢？因为在我们古人认为哈，就到开始过春节，
We feel that when
比
we
如
are
从
approaching the
腊月
Lunar New
23
Year,
一
around
直
the
到正月
23rd
15，
of the lunar
对，
这是
calendar
我
to
们
the
中国人
15
哈
days of
过
the
这个
Lunar
春
New
节的
Year,
这个过年期间，
this
对吧？
is
就这个
considered
期
the
间
New Year
的
period.
好坏善恶，
All the good
就
things
意
that
味
you
着你
do,
这一年接下来
it
的
means
情况。
that what's going to happen to
哦
you
这年
for
头就
the
决定了
rest
一
of the
年。
对
year.
对对，他就是这么理解的。
那我们
That's
不用装了，那我
understanding.
们真得好好做了。
这
So
20
that's
来
why we
天
want to do good deeds
这
then
种
during this
善恶
period.
吉凶，就代表了接下来这一整年。
哦，
在古代不得了哈，古代是农业社会，
In the past,
如果
a lot
接
of
下来一
people are
年，比如
farmers,
说，庄稼没有收成，
and if during this
那
year,
就糟
就靠
了。
if
种
the
地，
harvest is
灾了呀。
bad,
你撒了种子，种上去之后，
then what's going to happen to the family?
那就饥荒
Say,
了
for example,
苗长
you
出
have
来
sowed the seeds,
啊
but there's no
到
growth
夏
or
天到
there's
秋天都
famine,
没有收成，
and there's
人家人吃什
no
么？
harvest in
就
autumn.
饿死人了。
What happened to the
然后
family?
这种灾
They
一
may
来的
starve
时
to
候啊，
death.
一
And
整
when
片一
famine
整片，就
comes,
是一下就是5个县都是这样的，
maybe a few
十几万
provinces will
人
be affected,
流离失所，
and
那可就惨了。
苦了。
many people will
对对对
become homeless.
所以的话，这种报应坏事来的时候啊，
So
可
that's
是不得
why
了。
when
今
the
天你在
karma
城市里
come,
头，因为
it
没有
can be
直
quite
接去面对种
detrimental
植
to
庄
the
稼呀，
whole
不
areas.
在农业社会里头，
But
你
now
家里有点存钱哈，
we do
在
not
城市里
live
头，不管
in the
外
type
面
of,
是否
we are
闹
not
饥
in the
荒，
farming
你只要
industries.
拿钱就能买到粮食吃。
We, as long
所以
as
你
we
这
have
种
accumulated some funds, we will be able
天灾
to
这个
buy
部
some
分哈，
food.
不是超大天灾的话，你几乎没有感觉，
So unless
那
it
城
is
市化生
extreme
活了。可是在古代可是不得
natural
了，
disaster,
今天在
you
农
have
村
no
的人也
sense
是
of
不得
it.
了，
But in
没有
ancient
收
time,
成，
it's
你
different.
要吃什么？
If there
就
is
像
a
在
natural
城市里失业
disaster,
了
it
一
will
样，
impact
没有
them
工资收入
directly.
了，
对
吃
It's
什
just
么？
that,
对吧？
like the
尤其
farmers
是全
losing
家
their
人哈，
jobs
哎，
and
有时候孩
without
子还
any
小，
income,
老人更老，
the family
中
will
间指
starve.
望1个人2个人挣工资吃饭，如果都失业了呢？
Can you imagine
Oh,
if
nah.
in a family
惨不忍
there
睹
are
啊！
two adults
啊，还不如在
working,
乡下，至
bringing
少还能挖
food
草
to
根
the
儿吃
table?
啊。
But if they lost
在
their
城
jobs,
市里头啊，
what's going to happen
那
to
更
the
艰难。
family?
对，
哎，
And if they have to go
所以一个
through
道理
winter
哈，
without food,
所以说回来，
Can you
就这
imagine
段
what
时间
happened?
就是灶王爷上天以后呢，玉皇大帝会派天神下凡。
So what happens is that when the kitchen god has gone to the
我们一定得
heavens,
好好做，
the
说好话，
emperor
做好
Jade
事，多
will
帮人，
inspect the
积
mortal
功
realm by
德。
sending
是。
the
天神看
celestial
到。
deities.
其实我自己感觉也是说这个说法哈，小时候我妈也是这么，
When I was
我不
young,
知道是吓唬我们还是
my
教育我
mom
们
said
这种
that
感觉
to us.
啊，
I
说
wasn't
你
sure
说话
whether
要
was
小
she
心哈，
just trying
就
to
不要说
scare
一些
us
那种不吉祥的话，
and told us
我们
not
是
to
神
say
灵，要不是
some
生气就
words
麻烦，
that are
哎
not
所以都
good
是小心，干活
and
也
told
小
us to be
心，
careful
说话尽量也
whatever
小
that we
心，
do,
还注意把握情绪哈。
and we want
是
to
这样的。
maintain our
所以要不然
emotions
让
as
神灵
well.
听见了生气可麻烦了。
是。
We try not
言
to
恭恭敬
raise our
敬的
voice or
讲
get
礼貌
angry.
啊，
对
对，
at
好好
people
做事。
嗯，
哎，那师傅呢？他们看到，比如说，哎，有的好人家真的是，也是，行善积德哈。
So, Master, if they see a family who accumulate a lot of good deeds, will
一
Emperor
定会，
Jade
一定会。
give them some good?
对呀，
fortune?
怎么讲都有啊。
Yes,
这个
of
就
course.
等于神灵给你奖励哈。
So
比如
when
今年的
deities
话，你
give
可
you
能
good fortune,
就这个，
发财了。
当然了。
哦，
you will
咱比如
have
说，现在你很多行业哈，很
good
多行业
fortunes.
裁员厉害。
Actually,
尤其
now
高
a
科
lot
技
of
行业哈，
industries
哎，
they have a lot
人
of
家比如你个
retrenchment.
办公室裁了一半儿，
Say
你
the
呢就是保住的
office,
继续有
half
饭
of
吃，
the workers were
这
retrenched,
算不算奖励呢？
but you managed to
对
keep
不
a
对？
job.
哎，对，
Isn't
甚至
that
是
a
说
form
还
of
有的那
rewards?
个，
疾病好了，
对对对，
Some people may
还
be ill
甚至还有的奖
and
励
they
哈，
recover from
比
their
较明
sickness.
显偏奖励类的，
啊，
人家还失业了，你还被提升了，
So some type of reward can,
是的。
sometimes the reward can be
上
form
分
of
奖励
people
啊。
lose their job as
哎
they retrench.
比如你
But
孩子
you
那
got
个
a
读书不够
promotions.
好，对不对？考大学本来是没希望的，
Say, for example,
哎，
you
结
have
果
a
考的
child,
分数还挺高。
by right,
匹黑
you
马
have
对
no
呀，对，
the
所以
results
这个
not good
神
to
灵
get
的
to
奖励人太容
universities.
易了，
But
你就是
because
处处是
of
感觉到吉祥，
the auspiciousness that's bestowed on
对
you
对
by the
甚至
heavenly
你没有
deities,
想他就来得更
this
好。
child managed to
比如你
get
原来
to
就想到
good
今年别，
universities, get good grades.
你看那么多人被失业了哈。
So if you look
哎，
at
我
now, a
呢
lot of
能
people
保住
lose their
工作就不
jobs,
错，结果不
and
但
the
保住了，还
person
提
not
升
only
了。
maintain the job,
对对对。
they even get a
哎
promotion. That is
所以
definitely
呢
a，form of
能够
reward.
去恭敬灶王
So
爷、
what
灶
is
王奶哈，
important is to be
哎，那你
grateful,
就有福了。
grateful and full of gratitude to
更好。
kitchen god and kitchen
学到了
goddess.
感恩
对
师傅。
Then you will have
那
good
相反的，
fortune.
不孝顺的、做坏事的，肯定也会得到惩罚。啊
对
我们
So
千万
those who
别
do
这
bad
样
deeds, they will be
得管理好自己的行为哈。
是
对
好。
punished as
那我
well.
们说了腊月
So it is
23糖瓜
important
粘哈
for，you
那24
to
呢就是说
observe your own
赶晨扫
actions.
房子
对，
啊，
24
我就记着
扫房子
小时候24这一天，全家 家人都要打扫卫生。
I also
打
remember
扫
that
除
on the
那个时候又还
24th,
小，
it
我
is
小的时候还没有洗
important
衣机嘛，哎呦
to
累哦，
dust
那
and
搓衣板儿
clean
那搓
the
被子、
house.
被单儿，什么床单儿，还
And
有
we
衣
also have
服
to, there's like a major cleanup involved, and we even need to wash the bed sheets, pillowcase. We have to wipe the doors, windows, cabinets, tables. And we have to clean all corners, and we have to clean the kitchen
其
as
实打
well.
扫卫生本来就不轻松啊。
Actually, cleaning
对，
is actually
但
not
是呢，你
easy.
这一
It
年呢
involves
哈，
some work.
过年，
But because it's
我觉
Lunar
得
New
把
Year
去年
approaching,
的这些污浊
it
的，
is
甚至
important
过去还有
to
人是
clear
病
and
气，
sweep
他
away
去年总是身体不好，
the
总
bad
看医
things.
生是吧？
Say someone is
这
unhealthy
是
last year,
还叫
is
晦
always
气
sick.
啊。对，把这个病气、
So
晦
you
气，
want to
还是有
get
烦
rid
恼，
of,
这
wash
应该
away
留在
the
去年。
unhappiness of the
咱
previous
们现在
years,
说这个
including
年哈，
illness,
是按照中国的
worries,
阴历年，
evil
从
spirits,
过春节吧，
and unhealthy
春
mood.
节之后，过了30晚上就是新年哈。
对，
After
我们
the
讲的是这个年
30th
哈，
对对
of
对
the
吧？
12
把这个
lunar
一切
month,
不好的留在
it
过
is
去，
beginning of the
把
new
好的
year.
呢展
You
现
want
在
to
未来
bring
哈。
the new
哎，
things
对，
inside
所
the
以呢，应
house.
该把这个去年的哈这些不好的这些东西都给它清洗掉。
So all the not
因
good
为你
stuff,
不管怎么
you
换，
want
你
to
的屋子
remove
你还是
them.
住在里头的嘛。
是，
所以把这些不好的从自己屋子里清出去。
You want to clear off your
哎
house.
所以你这个几个月不洗的衣服也得洗洗哈。
So the clothes that you
所
don't
以
wash
一年
for
没洗
months,
过的床单儿也得洗
it is
洗。
important to wash.
是不是？
And it's important to
还得
wash
拆
your
被
bed
子、洗洗被
sheets
套，
对，
and your pillowcases as well.
袜子啊，
袜子，
Your
还有
socks
那个冬天穿那些厚衣服啊，
And also
哎
the
呀都不
winter
好洗
clothes
都得洗一洗。
都得
It's
洗一
time
洗
for
啊。
you to spring clean and wash them
桌椅
again.
板凳啊、柜子啊、橱啊
And
这
even
些
like
都要擦
stools,
干
even
净。
cabinets,
对，对。
tables,
门呐
windows,
窗啊，
doors.
哎，
好多卫生死角儿，这个时候有
There are a
的时
lot
候
of
小孩子不小
corners
心
to clean.
吃了什么东西啊，糖啊什么丢在
Maybe
这个死角上
sometimes the
了
kids eat some sweets and throw at the corners and attracted insects like cockroaches and ants.
你在北方还
So you
也
need to
够厉
check for
害，
them
南
for
方
these
更麻烦。
insects like
哎
cockroaches,
你放了
rats,
这些食
ants.
物，尤其带甜味儿的这个食物哈，
对，
不知道招什么虫子。
那这个就会带来传染病哦。
So when you
对，
have this,
一
you
个是
may
肮脏，
cause
对，
some
还有把你的
disease.
衣服啊或者墙咬坏。
So some
那
of
还
these
有的是
insects may
有
may
有
actually
疾病
spoil your
对
clothes.
哎，对呀。
I mean, like
你比
bite
如
the
说你经
holes
常
to
坐
your
在
clothes.
床上，小孩儿哈吃糖吃点心，
Actually, some
就会
kids
引
they
来
like
什
to
么呀？
eat
蚂蚁啊，
biscuits
老鼠呀。
or sweets or
老鼠，
cookies
对呀。
on the
对呀。
bed, and it will also
甚至那
attract
个床
cockroaches,
床垫儿
rats, and ants.
对，还有臭虫。哎，
老讨厌了。
像我们小时候臭虫是常见的产品哈，那现在来说这个臭虫越稀有，咬人就
In
越厉
fact,
害。
some insects, when they
哎，所
bite,
以
it's
在
really painful.
23年，有很多国家本来很干净，像韩国挺干净吧，也出现了一大批
So
臭虫，
actually, in
就把人
23rd,
咬的
in the
呢
year
变成红色的，
2023, there are a lot of bed bugs
听说还传染的，
that
是以前
appears
加
in
拿
a
大
lot
都
of
出现
countries.
过
真的也出
It
现。
happens in
旅
even
店里头
in
整个
Canada,
旅馆
in
到
the
时候都得封
hotels,
起来，
and
然
in
后去杀臭
Korea.
虫。
So what they
对。
did is they
所以
actually
大家呢，这个以后住过这个旅馆哈，
cleaned
住过旅馆之后，你这个出门的时候带
the
的这些衣
hotels.
服哈，回了家最好都洗一下。
So actually, if you
你
go
这个衣服
traveling,
箱子，
the
不管
clothes
你总提着
that
有个行李箱
you
嘛，
bring
最
along
好啊
for your travel
到
trips,
家里时候把衣
when
服
you
掏
come
出来
back,
全都喷酒
make
精
sure
喷到
you
自己
wash all the clothes again,
要不
even
然
if
的话
those clothes are
要不然
clean.
就可能把旅馆的
Otherwise,
地毯上
You may
的
bring
那个臭虫
the
或者某种
bugs
其
from
他
the
的细菌带回
carpets
家来，
or
它在家
from
里再繁
the
殖。
from the surrounding and bring it home.
哎，对，所以各国的机场的防疫啊，
Because
就无论
different
多严，
countries,
它也防不到。
they may not be
对不对？
able
反
to
正太严
protect
吧，
enough
顾
for
客
all
觉
these
得太
bugs.
麻烦了，
Or
你这
it's
国
too
家那么苛
difficult
刻，
to clear all
这
the
个不管
bugs.
吧，另外国家的这个病害就带过来了。
So you want to take the
所以咱们
necessary
这
precautions
这
to
个24
avoid
的时候
bringing
一
the
定要来
bugs
个
from
大清理
overseas
哈，大
into your
清洗。
house. So
哎，
on this day, on the
把弄得干干
25th,
净
you
净
need to do a major
尤其
spring
些食
cleaning.
物哈，从这些你的柜子里头啊，孩
So
子
you
的
want
衣
to
服口袋
clear
里头
stuff from your
对，都
cabinets.
给它清洗了，要不然惹来大麻烦。
对，是不是现在我们这个清扫还是方便多了哈？
Actually,
工具
now
也多
cleaning
清
is a
洁
lot
剂也多
easier
洗衣机也有，烘干机也
because
有，
we have
真是轻
dryer,
松
we
多了。
have
对。
vacuum
我分享一个我
cleaners,
小的时候，
we
我
have
小时候才
washing
4、5岁
machines.
哦，
When
然
I
后呢
was young,
堂哥跟我都一起
my
跟爷爷
cousin
奶奶住哈，
对，
was
爷爷奶奶
living
就
with
到过
me
年的
together
时候
with my
就哎呀
grandparents.
我们小孩子嘛，
We were
嗯
kids
反正
then,
然后我女孩呢还好，就是 2条棉裤，洗1条呢还穿1条。
So for ladies it's good. At least we have 2 pants. But I can wash one and wear another one. But my cousins didn't have enough. Only have 1 pants. And when he washed his pants, he have no pants left. So he just used a blanket to cover his naked body. So when they washed the blanket, he only left with the blanket cover. So on the 23rd, we have a lot of sweets. I took a lot of sweets, and I took with me. He couldn't get out of his bed because he didn't have his pants. He was just using a blanket cover to wrap his naked body. So during that time, we need to dry over a fire so that we can wear the clothes back. So you'll be lucky if you can wear it the next day because there's no dryer during those times. So we will actually try to dry the wet clothes over a fire. I have similar experience when I was young too. You only have 1 pants. And when you wash the pants, you have to wait around for it to dry. But now people have so many clothes. But actually a lot of time you may seem like you have a lot of clothes, but half of it you can't wear it.
到餐馆啊，或者在哪里的，就是因为在很多餐馆都放着很多这个擦手纸哈。对。而年轻人呢，我觉得跟我们吃一顿饭哈。So sometimes when you go to the young people to the restaurant to eat, they have the tissue box at the side, and some of the youngsters they keep taking the tissue to wipe and clean. The old people just use 1 piece of tissues, where the younger folks, they use more than 10 over pieces. So in the end, it's the young people, they are not so careful about. It's about wasting resources. 所以以后再这样的话，给你们只做1条棉裤。
对，现在棉裤还都能洗衣机里都能洗。
Actually, now you can wash the pants in the washing machines. So it's different from the olden days when you don't have enough, and now you can actually dry it in the dryer. So we talk about hygiene problems because when you wash it, it also represents good fortunes. So it is important for you to wipe everything, including the altar that you offer to Buddhas. But you want to remember that the incense, the burnt incense, you should not discard. If you have too much, you can put into a bag. And you may want to write that this is 2023 in the incense, and you keep it. Why? Because this accumulates a lot of virtues and fortunes. But if it's dirt and dust, you want to wipe them away, but the burnt incense, do not throw them away. So this is something I want to remind you. You want to keep them. Actually, on the 24th, the spring cleaning, it is a time for us to clean the house. And we also had some spring couplets. Yeah, almost forgotten about this. So you may have some beautiful, like some couplets, spring couplets that you want to paste around the house during this festive period. On which day do we paste it? On the 24th. So all these spring couplets, you want to remove from the old couplets and put up the new one. I think every year, Masters, you have given us the spring couplets. So during the new year, we put the new one up. So Masters, a lot of people ask, what do we do? Do we keep it? Is it okay we keep it? The spring couplets?
因为它代表是去年的。
Because it represents last year's.
除了日记之外，不要烧了。这些呢，其实就应该烧掉。
Actually, all these have to be burnt away.
就是 say goodbye， 就是再见了哈，
就是
过去了。
它就过去了。
It's the past.
过去了，保佑的是去年了。
So about the past.
那就把它烧了。
So we want to burn them.
其实其他的其实也包含着咱们过去印过的年历哈。
And includes those calendars.
还有的时候有照片，要不要留自己
with those with my
跟
pictures,
书一样，存几张也可以。
you decide what you want. You may want to keep the pictures. You decide for yourself.
那你这存过去的照片有个好处是呢，我越来越老，对不对？
Well, you keep my old photos. What happens is that I become younger. So I'm not younger. So the pictures that you have kept will be with my younger self.
但是凡是不用的这个年历呀
But things that you don't need.
当然是也从回收角度不要烧哈。
But from the recycle perspective, you can also recycle.
是挺好的。
It's also good as
可以再
well
重造呀。
because they
对吧
can
你烧了
recreate.
之后呢，它就没有了。
When you burn, they
但是如果
they
回
no
收了
longer
之后
exist.
重新加工造出新纸来也是
But they
挺
can
好的。
recycle and become new paper. It's quite good as well. So from a recycle perspective,
可以给你讲一讲。
And what
春联儿
about
我们
the-
贴在那儿，哎，就是它就这个是一个吉庆的，
加持我们。
是一个加持，对吧？
春联的寓意。
so all the things that we paste there, it represents
哦，这个是
auspiciousness
比较
and the
远古时期
blessings.
了。
哦，
这个东西其实是几乎没有记录了，这是有的时候在无意中提到的这个行为哈，在古人这个行为。
Actually,
其
there's
实我们从贴福字、贴春联
when we put all
供
these
灶神
spring
供福
couplets
神
and
供
all the
祖先
deities
供神位
pictures,
等等的，
all
其
this,
实都是为了吉祥。
why do we do
这
that?
个吉祥之中
It's all
隐
for
含着一种那不吉祥的
auspiciousness.
是什么呢？
So what is
首先灾
inauspiciousness?
中灾难之中最大的一个问题呢，就是疾病，
对
One of them
疾病
is
还有
illness,
夭折。
对，
and
如果
another
你小孩
one
得了病不
is
及时救治，
the
就死
the
了呀。
young children
小孩
died
年
young.
轻人死亡都叫夭折。
So
这是
if
父母
there
亲
are
最
people
怕
that are young and died early,
再接下来就是
it
灾
is
祸，
also a bad sign.
天灾人
The other
祸。
type will be like
天灾有
disasters
多少，人祸
and
有多大，
calamities.
数不清楚。
There are
没
uncountable
有
of
一个
such
最大最
misfortunes.
小，那无止境的。
是，
这个东西，所以比如说战争也是人祸，
So that's
来
why
的时
when
候
there are war
哎呀，神都挡不
and
住。
when there are natural
那家伙
disasters,
一来的时候，
you
有时
can't
候
ward them.
你比如说在电影上你过去看到哈，
You
烧
watch
杀
some
抢
in the
掠，
movies.
这一个村子放火，全村人都烧死，对吧？
There is
所
a
以
big
有时候
fire
这个
and the
这
entire
种大
village
灾
will
祸
be
来的
burnt
时候，
away
这
and
个
a
死
lot of
亡是非
villages
常
are
庞
killed.
大的，很触目惊心呐。
对，
对，有时候一家人被灭口了。
Sometimes
所以灾祸
when
有多
such
大，
natural
上至全家
disasters
灭亡。
or calamities
轻微呢？
happens, the entire family may be wiped
轻微
out.
切菜切掉手指头，对
So
不对？
what
这都
is
大。
considered light is that when
那
you're
就是
cutting
不管大人
vegetables, you
孩子得病
accidentally
是吧？
cut
你一年不用多了，
yourself.
你一年4、5回重感冒，你看看影不影响你工作？
Well, we just talk about
工
even
作
a
读
normal
书都受
flu.
影响。
If you have
是吧？你
flu
重感
3,
冒
4
的话，
times
至
in
少
a
1
year,
次半个月
does
吧
it。affect your
这
job?
个一年来
Does it
4
affect
回
your performance
其
and
实都非常耽误
productivities?
事儿。
对，
It
全家人跟你
definitely
受
will
罪
set you back.
更不要说你偏瘫躺在家里头，对不对？
And imagine that
病
if
人
you're
难受，
seriously
家人也
ill,
难受。
not only
对
the person,
但是像老
the
人得
patient
重
has to
病，
suffer,
危
一
险
the
直
family
从
has to
得病
suffer
到
as
去
well.
世，全家人等于都跟着病了就。
Say, for
伺
example,
候
there are
人的
some
人更
old
累的
people
慌，
that are
是不是
sick
啊
at home,
被伺候的人啊，又
and
急又累，
the people that
又
serve
急又累
them
又花
or
钱，
look
但是
after
病还
them,
好不了，
they too
对不对？
will
有时候
suffer as
钱花
well.
光了，病还没好就死了。
Sometimes they may spend their fortunes, the
这都
family
是灾
fortunes,
呀。
just to cure
所以咱们过去
the,
做这
the
些事儿
patients
啊
or the one
几
that's
乎
sick
都是
at home.
为了避各
So
种
these
灾
are all
得各种
calamities.
吉祥。
So why we do all this? So that we can
所以
bring
这
all
个门
auspiciousness
口这个
to ward off evil.
这一对儿春联儿，其实就是为了最早的辟邪。
Actually, why we have the spring
这在过
couplets
去，所以才
is
用
to
用
ward
桃
off
木
evil energy.
这个雕刻，
And
那
that's
个
why
符
in
咒
the
挂在
past
门口
they
上。
use the peach wood.
像南方呢，很多放
In
竹
the
竿，
south,
在
a
门
lot
口
of
上。
them use
到这个过
bamboo.
年的这个日子来了之后，用火烧，
啊，这就是爆竹，
用火一烧，尤
And
其
they
那个
even
青
burnt
竹子
away.
哈，
对，
粗一点的，像
The
这
bamboo,
个，像这个
those
茶
very
杯
thick bamboo,
茶
the
杯那么
size
粗的
of
啊
a，
那
teacups.
个青竹子的话，它因为里头有很多水汽嘛，
Because
在
the
火上
bamboo
爆
has
火
a
一
lot
烧，
of
它
vapors
就
in
爆
it.
开了，
So when you
形成
burn
高
it,
压，
it will,
蒸发
under
之后，
intense pressure and
那就
heat,
所以叫爆
it will
竹爆
burst.
竹了。
And that's
现在
why
叫燃放
we talk
过
about
去的
it
燃放
like
是在火里烧啊，
crackles.
只是后来用了火药做成小鞭炮，
But only
才
later
这样的
on,
哈。 那
they
为什
add
么非要弄
some
出这个？他要的就是这个响声
chemical
嘛
substance
为什么要
that
这个
will
响的声
bring
音？
sparks.
知道吗？
把那个妖怪吓走。
But why do they want to
人们
do
就观
that?
察到哈，
Why do they want to
当
have
这个天上
firecrackers?
打雷的时候，就咵，
Well, you
那
know
个很大
that
的
when
声
there's
音
thunderstorm,
人也吓一跳吧？
everybody is afraid,
你
right?
发现你们家养的狗养的猫，
Do you
就呲
find
溜钻
that
的躲到
your
底下
dog,
去，
the
或者猫
cats
钻
that
你
you have
怀
at
里来
home,
它就受
whenever
惊
the
吓了，就害怕。
whenever there's a thunder, they will
大象
try
那么大，
to
天上一
hide.
打雷，一打伞，
So what is a
大象吓
firecrackers
得直
like?
哆嗦。
It is a little
老
bit
虎、狮
like
子都如此。
thunder. So it will
所以才
frighten
有
and
了
ward
像
off.
杂技表演的时候，让什么狮子、老虎跳钻火圈儿，这其实是他死敌他最害怕的，啊，火和爆炸声。哎，人们就开始推理哈。
So that's why people
如果
start
是
to
这样的话，那
analyze.
个鬼也怕。
So if so many
邪气也怕。
people, if it causes a lot of fear,
他就打他，他
what
怕
about
他，但
evil
你弄他。
energy? What about
所以
evil
过年的时
spirits?
候就
Would
叫
they be
门外
afraid
头一
of
般。
the
只有
loud
在地
noise
院
like
里头放。
firecrackers?
在
Yes.
地院这里放，就把家里的晦气赶走、吓走它。在门口放的时候，外面给截住。
别进来。
So why
对。
they do that
所以
in the,
贴
at
这
the
个对
front
联儿呢，
gate is
哎，
to prevent
这
them
个
from
这个门
entering.
口上你别进我家来。
So
哎，
why
总以
do
为
they
鬼和
put
邪气
the
并且哈，
couplets,
都从
spring
你家
couplets at the
门敲
door
门进来的。
so that
这
they
是
do
不能
not
敲
enter
门
the
进来。
house?
但是那怎么挡啊？
How do you
哎
ward
反
them
正
off?
门儿是代表是我的地盘儿吧？
Actually,
贴
door
门
just
上嘛。
represents it's
所以
my
用红
place,
色，对吧？
and
可
they
以
use
红
red,
这个桃木的，
and they
啊，
use the
过去还有
peach
一股
wood
樟木的。
to ward off
啊，对，
evil
你们
spirits.
家如果有巨富的话，像皇帝一样富，你可以用沉香啊哈。
Well, if you're
对
very，
他做的
rich,
这
you
个
can
辟邪的东
use
西。在过去
agar
不
wood,
光是这个，
those very expensive
啊
wood.
还有别的哈，一会儿我讲。所以慢慢呢，为了说，当中国人发明了纸之后，
So
有人
when
觉
the
得哎，这
Chinese
多省事儿啊。
developed
哎，
paper,
刻了。
they
对，
find
我
that
最
they
早
don't
是写
have
红
to
字儿，
do
哎，
wood
这写红字儿
carving.
觉得也不
They
太
don't
吉
have
祥。
to use
那
the
古代
peach
皇帝
wood
砍人
carving.
哈，他写人名字的时候用猪笔勾你的名字，就等于砍头。
对，
一勾这个你的名字，就等于把头砍下来一样，所以这个也不吉祥。怎么办呢？就这个纸啊，把它染成红的，哎，往上写黑字儿就可以了。那这个过去这个红纸是什么呢？
So what they do
它
is
主
they
要
use a
有
red
掺了
paper
朱砂
and
这
to
个颜
write
哦，辟邪。
不是全部朱砂哦。
the
朱砂太贵了。
如果
And
整
just
个
write
用
on it, write on the
朱砂
red
染的
paper.
这个纸哈，可能还没那么红。
哦，
这个朱砂
In the
溶解之
past,
后
they added zusa
弄到
is
纸
a
上还不
type
一定那
of
么红，
components
增加其
to
他的
add
颜
on
色，
it to have ward
哎，
off
把这个纸
evils.
染成红的，再往上
They
写字儿。
just
那
make
朱
sure
砂
that
就
they
辟邪
dye the paper to
这个
red.
中药里都有写呀。
Actually,
朱砂泡、
in
朱砂
the
粉啊。
TCM, they talk
对，
about
所以掺
zusa.
了朱砂的这个红宣纸，
So
上
on
头再
paper,
写字
if
儿。
they add it,
中国古代的好
and
墨
when
也
they
辟
write
邪
it,，it
它
has
里头
helped
放
to
的这
ward
个
off
里头
evil.
的原料哈，里头那些中药原料当中就有辟邪成分的东西。
So this cinnabar
所以这
actually
个字
will
儿
ward
都
off
春联儿
evils.
贴到门两边儿，就代替
So
了
they
什
will
么
write
桃
the
木
words
呀、
and place it at the
这
side
个
of the
樟
door.
木呀、竹子呀，这比较干净明了又好看，
对，
又文雅。
有喜庆。
对，还把
And
祝
they
福
use
的
the
字都
spring
写上了。
couplet so that it
当代
looks
人就
more
写
refined.
什么平安啊之类的，
哎对
这个
They
是直
write
白的
like
祝福
They
在
write
更
different
过去
type
的
of
时候可能
auspicious
不这么
words on it.
啊，比如什么吊死鬼什么邪魔别进来等，它
It's
可能
like,
更
well,
写得更
all
直
the
白。
evil spirits
对，
don't
现
enter
在
the
呢就是
house.
中国人还讲叫隐
吉祥
晦的
话
语词，隐晦，他就是把这个东西隐含起来，写个笼统的吉祥的话，
So basically, they just say
就
something
辞旧
that's
迎
very
新等等
auspicious
的这个概念，
鸿运当头。
because it symbolizes the
对，
red
它
is
写
the
得更
colors of
隐晦一
thriving
点，
young
不
energy,
是明白
and
的
it symbolizes family
避鬼邪之类这
prosperity.
个词但是当如果特别需要的时候，像在台湾呐、
So
新
in
加坡啊、马
Taiwan
来西
and
亚，
Singapore,
在他们的贴
in
这个
Malaysia,
已经不是对联儿是符的时候，就直白了
when they have, they paste the words
啊，对，
of
比
fortune,
如说无常鬼莫入之类
it
的，
is very
就
direct.
又是不一样了哈。
对。
好了，大家知道，反正春联儿就是这个意思。
So at least you know the
刚才我们
meaning
看
for
这个
the
图片
spring
上就是
couplets.
师傅给我们今年给网友们
龙年的啊
对龙年送的这个
Master, you have
春联
given
啊
us this
非常感
spring
恩师傅
couplets.
来
啊
读一读，
对，是心慈益善福临
It
门，
means that when your heart
龙天
is
护
kind and your intention is compassionate, you have good fortunes enters your house, and you also have the heavenly dragon Lord to protect you and bring you good fortunes. So you enter into the Buddha's land. So Bodhi disciples and Bodhi's practitioners will always have good fortunes and good lucks. And you have good fortunes for the entire year. And there's also 2 door gods. And who are these door gods? We talk about the kitchen gods, Master. Can we talk a little bit more about the door gods?
比较偏内地，内地指比如说青海、西藏、云南就不是内地，是比较边缘的地方，边疆。但是大概像中原地区，河北、山东、
So in Hebei, Shandong, Henan, Zaixi areas of China, or even like they are considered the inner China. So basically, in that is where the development of the ancient Chinese culture. So in that greater inner China area, the door gods, it actually originated from the Tang dynasties. There are actually 2 genres. There are the 2 genres of Emperor Tang. One of them is Qin Shu Bao. People who read about the history, they know that you will be able to know about him. He is a very highly skilled martial art in martial art. And the other one is Yu Ci Gong. Yu Ci, they all call him Yu Ci Jing De. So in ancient time, there is a last name and first name. So to sound good, it's called Yu Ci Jing De. Based on the legend, I remember it's around Tang Taizong era. Maybe he was working very hard, the emperor Tang Taizong working really hard, and he has insomnia, he couldn't sleep well, and he has a lot of nightmares. Let me say, anyway, because I had a meal with Emperor Tang before, Li Shiming, he killed a lot of people because he's the first emperor of the Tang Dynasty. The North Song Dynasty started. The Zhao Kuangying, he didn't kill a lot of people. The way that he ascend the throne is a bit different. He didn't really kill to get his throne. So it's quite peaceful then. That was the Beisong era. So they are not so much into killing. But Li Shiming is different. He killed a lot of people, including his own siblings, because he originated from the north, the tribes. So in his bloodline, he accumulated 4 northern tribes. So they are more of a hunter origins, and they are more of a warrior. So that's why it is in his blood, and that he killed a lot of people. But because of the killing, he was awakened by nightmares and ghosts. Because ghosts came to look for him and he couldn't sleep. So as a result, he often wake up by nightmares. So there was one time Yu Ci Jing De rushed into him and asked him what happened. And he said that he has nightmares and they're thinking of a way out. So he said, so the Shu Bao, so he ordered the general Shu Bao, Yu Chen Jing De, to guard. And they have the weapons. They are huge metal sticks and protect the emperor. So they guard the house. because they want to prevent the ghosts from entering the house. They don't want the ghosts to enter the Emperor Tang Taizong's dreams. So they brought a lot of incense to burn in the house so that the ghosts cannot enter. So they guard outside his sleeping quarters. And he said that, and hence they became door gods. So that's how they became the door gods. So they basically guard his sleeping quarters for the emperor. Well, they are already deities, so maybe if they guard at night, they will sleep during the day. So it brings a lot of peace to Tang Taizong, the Tang the emperor. And as a result, they just get his picture. After this thing got settled, so they also got some monks to help to liberate some of these lost soul and dead ghosts. Because they have divine eyes, they are able to see the ghosts. So they have to keep trying to kill all this, trying to in order to protect the emperor, they have to fight with the ghosts. And it was actually very tiring. So they seek help from a monk. So they wanted to use compassion to bring peace. So the monk said, okay, we will perform a ritual for 7 days. And after the monk performed the rituals, he managed to liberate the ghosts to a different realms. And after that, they decide to draw pictures of the two generals and paste at the door. So if you look at them, their weapons are like really strong metal weapons. They are made of very strong, sturdy metal. I feel that if they hit on anybody's head with this weapons, the person would die. So because they were guarding the emperor, so they used the painting to guard the emperor. Some of the officers also want their pictures. And that's how it started. It started during the Tang Dynasties. And after that, everybody want to paste the door gods. So this door gods also represents fortune gods. Well, so they basically they bring good fortune as well. So in the past, they cannot print gold, so they use the gold paint to paint over the printed portraits of the door gods.
那师傅啊，就我们这个春联和门神，就师傅刚才讲都是用红色的纸来做的哈。
So Master, you mentioned that the spring couplets is also on red, and as well as the door gods, the portraits also red. Can you tell us a little bit more? Why red? Well, red is actually the opposites of
红花还
green.
叫绿叶配
Represents
阴阳结合
is
还有红黄之色为火色
and red and yellow represent
它那个
fire
光芒
color.
一个是红色，第二个就是黄色，
So the two of them that will eliminate
太阳
is
之中还有第
actually
四种是黑色。
red,
然后我
yellow
那时候年轻的时候眼睛
and
比
even
较厉
white.
害，我仔细就用肉眼盯着太阳看。大家不
When
要
I
模
was
仿
young,
啊
I
有
look
时候
at
把
the
眼睛
sun.
烧坏了
Don't do
它那
that
个
because
太
it
阳
will
中
burn
间
your
是黑
eyes.
色或者叫深蓝色。
There's also dark blue
对。
color as well.
那所以这个红色呢，先是说是
So
代
the
表着
red
火
color,
的颜色。
it represents fire.
所有的世界各民族哈，
All-
在原始的状态之中，对火的颜色是非常崇拜的。
Everybody loves the color of fire.
对呀，所有动物都怕火。
All animals
你
afraid
看
of
火烤、火烧的那
fire
些食物，这个都不是其他动物嘛。对呀，都给烧死了。
and animals, they are afraid of red because it's fire.
对，所以在古代，在古印度
So
包括
in
佛
ancient
经里面
India
说火能消灭一切，
Fire can eliminate
就是这样
everything
或者能改变一切，
or
能
can
摧毁一
change.
切对对对，对。那红色呢？第二个东西呢，还代表的是血，流血的血。
Secondly, red also represents
所以
blood.
你这个在过去打仗战场上打完仗之后哈、所有的将士全是满脸满身血。
So in the past,
所以看
when
到红色
in
的
the
时候，你记住
battleground
是不是刚杀
you
过
see a
人
lot of
还是刚
soldiers,
杀过猪
they'll
呢
be full of blood.
是害怕啊，对，所以大家对于这个血啊，或者是火，共通的这个色，是有一种敬畏。
So that's why people are afraid
那
of
今
the
天你在
color of the
当今
sun,
这
the
个和平的
fire,
城
and
市
the
之中
blood,
哈
which is
看见
red.
红色就是红色，没有多想，就是还有这两个东西，这两个东西使人望而生畏。你
So
往
it
前走，你
brings
不变成这个颜色，
Fear.
如果你的身体变成这个颜色，你就完了吧，你可能流血而死啊，或者是被怎么样了啊？对，就是这样。
它就有辟邪的作用哈。
现在反而就是理解成是一种喜庆的
But
颜
now
色
we
啊
we symbolizes
庆
like
其实是因为
prosperity,
这个邪魔不能够
and it represents a form of it has a sense of protective effects against
它是
evil.
讲的朱砂
对
啊，中药矿粉之一。
So we talk about
但这个
cinnabar.
东西也有毒性，
It
就
is
但是
it is
历代
actually
的医学大
poisonous,
师都是认为朱砂就是能够防瘟疫，
but
还有
in ancient time, since ancient time, people believes that cinnabar will be able to ward off evil
邪
energy.
气入侵那
你
种。
问所有的中医，
You ask all Chinese
如
physicians,
果人邪
they
气
have
入侵变
similar
得神神经经的那种哈，疯疯癫癫的
similar
朱砂就管用
thoughts on
暗示
cinnabar.
它就回来了，神智就回来了。
它细节的这个药理咱们
The
再说
detail of it, the
那
materials
当
of
然
it,
辟邪的
we
药
will
物
talk
不
in a
光是
different
这个
time.
对，
很多种。
But there are other
以后我们
types
再
that will
说
be able
但是
to
说
ward off
红色
红色嘛
evils.
红
So
色
let's
至
come
少有
back
三个
to
这个寓意
red, but red
啊
has
因为
three
最后用这
meaning.
个宣纸染成红的当中，其中就掺了朱砂色。
So when you actually
我曾经
dye
买过一
the
幅画
color,
就
the
是这个
dye red,
清末
you
清
have
朝
to
末
use
年的一位
cinnabar as a form of
画
dye.
家哈，是
I
知
bought a
名画家
painting
任伯年
before.
他就用朱砂
Zheng Monian,
啊
he
兑
a
上水之
painter.
后研磨
He
出来
used
画了
cinnabar
钟
to
馗
paint
钟馗这个人，他是个
to
人，
paint 钟
但是
馗.
后来也被封为叫鬼王。
He is
他
also
不
known
是
as
时代冥王那
a
个阎
ghost
罗王哈，
god.
他是鬼中的一个大鬼、大厉鬼。
他就能捉鬼。
对
He
但是呢
is
你供
able
他
to
他帮你
catch
捉鬼
ghosts.
大概挺矛盾，挺
他是头儿嘛，所以
很难以
都听他
理解哈
的。
鬼都怕他，但他又是鬼。
He's a ghost,
但
but
是
he's
他
a
不
very
是
high level
他不是
ghost.
一般祸害人的鬼。
But he's not
是
those
这样的
ghosts that
那谁
bring
供他，他
harm.
替你去吃你们家的不必要来的鬼。
对，
So he will eat
所以那画
the
家画的
ghosts
那
that
个
come, the
钟
bad, the
馗
evil ghosts that comes to your
不
house.
是去捉鬼，啊，钟馗嫁妹还是什么之类的，反正是一个典故了。那小鬼呢要要的。
So there is
钟馗
stories about
就是
Zhong
抬
Hui
钟
trying
馗
to
的
marry the sisters,
啊，就害怕
and
他鬼
they
见了他呀，吓得腿抽筋。
the carriage, the bridal carriage is carried by the small by the ghosts because they are afraid of Zhong
过去
Hui.
的一些好的画家，还有一般的用这个朱砂
A lot of time they use the cinnabar to draw more sacred paintings. But sometimes the Renpo Nian is a painter, so he painted this Zhonghui. A lot of people like to hang. For example, some house is a haunted house, so they want to put such pictures on it. So if you have a cinnabar painting of a deities, Zhonghui, the ghosts will be afraid and they will leave naturally. Because you find that it's like radiating with bright light. And your house will be peaceful and safe. So we talk about the red during the Chinese New Year. It has another meaning as well. It represents good fortunes, prosperities. It also brings thriving careers as well. It's got to do with, it symbolizes prosperity and auspiciousness. And also red and blue and yellow. There are two broad categories of colors. It's the yin colors and the yang colors. We can understand that the cool colors represents the yin and the warm colors is yang colors. So we talk about red colors. It's very auspicious. The t-shirts that you wear is the long, the writing is my design. So behind is actually a 5-claw dragon. It brings protection. If you look closely, there's a dragon. It is like the heavenly dragons. So red, yellow, white represent yang colors. Black, blue, gray, and green represents yin colors. So there's the yin colors and the yang colors. So red and yellow are warm colors. Remember that. So the Chinese, the philosophy is yin yang. But actually there's some good reasoning behind the Chinese yin and yang. There is actually a lot of scientific truth behind it. So red and yellow are known as warm colors. So they are true yang colors. And if you wear that, you will bring forth more auspicious energy. Especially people who are in the year of, they have to seek the Tai Sui protection, Tai Sui God protection. It's important for them to wear red and yellow colors. What do you have that? Do you have the scarf? You have red and yellow combined. So it is so auspicious. So this is actually the start of the universe. And now we have made it into a scarf. This is so comfortable. It's a combination of silk and cotton. It's very warm as well. There's red and there's yellow, so it's auspiciousness. It just is a sign of the universe. It has very good meaning in it. And mine is a different one. It's a beauty of life. Oh, that's beautiful
红
too.
黄搭配，大福大贵呀。
收到。
It means great fortunes
感恩师傅
and
过年让我们
abundance.
能够穿上这么美的衣服，戴上
Thank
这
you,
么美的
Masters, for
围巾
giving us the
对
ability
感觉
to
精
wear
气
such
神儿都
beautiful
是
new
饱满
clothes
的
for the
对
new
呀。
year.
而且我们这些这个质量特别好，非常
And
拿
actually,
得
the
出手，
qualities
就
are
很容易
really
去
good.
做这个新春的礼品哈。
哎，
送
They are
给
good
亲人
New
呐
Year's gift.
朋友啊，
咱们过年了哈，
对，
哎，过年过春节了，这么吉祥哈，
嗯
所以呢，我们已经过了那个你去看亲戚、看朋友、看同学，买包点心这个时代了。
对对。
啊，买包
So
点心
now
2
we
斤
have
猪肉
gone
这个事儿
beyond
改
to
一改
buy
哈
cakes or pastries for friends
对
when we do
吉祥
house
很雅的
visitings.
哎，又有这个美好寓意的。
对
对
啊，对，
那除了这些
So
春
we
代
can
的呢
actually
还有
give
就是
this
这
as
些
a
手
gift,
串
good
类的
gifts.
哈哎，这些也是都找这种粉色呀、红色呀哈。
对
玛
So
瑙
you
材
try
质
to
啊
look
紫
for
金材质的
some
哈
nice
这些
red
都是非
colors.
常美，非常适合我们
They are
新
very
春的
auspicious and very
是天然
relevant.
宝石、天然材质的，
对
And these are
特别
all
特别的
natural
好
又都包
stones.
含着、蕴含着师傅的加持、吉祥的
And
能
it
量
also
在里
comes
面
with Master's
对护佑我们
protections.
的
嗯
感恩师傅。
不客气。
是。好，那我们讲到了这个腊月24了。
So we talk about the 24th of the lunar month,
好啊，
lunar
就到
12
了除
months.
夕了。好，我们
And then we
就直接
come to
跨
the
越到
eve
过来了，好的好的。
对
大年30。
对，大年
on the
30
eve of New
哦
Year.
要做什么呢？
What do we
哎
do?
那天哈，通常来说呢，一个是全家人啊
First,
聚拢到一起了哈，
as a family
全家
gathered
团圆就开
together.
始了哈。
That's
带
a
着呢
part
接下来
of
哈
family
我们要
reunions.
过大年了，
We're going to
要吃
have
好的，
the
穿美
new
的
year.
哈，
对，
哎，
We want
就
to
别
wear
忘祖先。
good stuff. We want to remember
像
our
我们北
ancestors.
方人哈，中国的北方人哈，到大年30的下午，祭祖啊，他们已经都往
So
生
actually,
往生
there is
下
there is actually a ritual
小时候男
to
孩啊
offer to the
父亲
ancestors.
呐、叔叔啊，带
So
我们
there'll be
去
ancestral worship.
父亲、叔叔啊，你的坟都一块儿的。
In the
这明白了
past,
哈
the father, the uncles, they're all buried
哎
in the
到那
same
儿去
place.
去祭祀，
So what do we do?
坟地
We
家族
go
坟地
to the
哎，
to
一块儿
to
祭
go
祀
to visit the grave.
我也听说也有一些是开始天黑了哈，也有人这样子。
对，好像各地的这个祭祖。
I also heard that some did it when it's about when it's dusk during dusk. So I think it depends on the locations. The ritual
回
is
家乡去
very
祭祖
depends
啊
on the
开车10几个
locations.
小时，
对，
再加上路上塞车，所以宁可早到不能晚到。要赶到上午就上午吧，赶到下午就下午。
But sometimes because
但是如
of
果
bad
离
traffic
这个离
conditions,
你家这
they
个
shift
祖
the
坟很
time
近的话
around.
也不塞车的话，那通常
They
是
try to
下午
avoid the traffic.
那这个你说
那像我们现在在这个异国他乡的那老家的
Like for us, we are now overseas, far from our
这摇祭
hometown.
遥祭，
What do we
摇祭
do?
就是远距离的摇拜一样的
You
这个意思
offer from a distance.
那师傅给大家讲一讲怎么
So, Master, can you share with us how can we remember our
我们首
ancestors
先说
during
的
this
祭祀的
period?
时候，如果你到了你家祖坟上，
First, if you
通
at
常
the
首
grave,
先要拿的一些就祭祀用品，
you must bring along some
点火器
items.
哈，打火机啊，火柴呀，
Must bring the
还
matched
有一个再就
sticks.
是一般从人来说，穿的、用的，
You bring some clothes
对，比如说你的老
to
爷爷，
use.
老爷爷往生的老爷爷，
Say
他
your
很熟悉，对不对？
grandfather
一般
had
容易
passed
是
on.
能回忆的是你认识的那位祖先。
Usually, the one that
是吧
your ancestors
你在再
is
上
the
辈
one
那个
that
老
you
爷爷
can
你没
remember.
见过
Usually,
他
your
你很难想象他
grandparents.
要吃啥
But
爱
if
啥
it's
对吧
beyond that
所以你只
generations,
能
you
说
have very
你这位
little
老爷爷爱
memories
吃
or
啥
no memories at
对
all
吧
to know what
比
they
如他
like.
爱吃炸糕，你给
Say,
他
for
炸糕
example, if you know that
还有
your
呢还有人老爷爷说爱
departed
喝点儿
grandparents love to
白酒
eat
二锅头，
你还得买他爱
specific
喝的
food or specific
拿着点
drinks, you
那
want
你
to
说师傅
buy
我不
those
是戒酒
specific
吗
drinks
你是
and
供
food.
你祖宗的，和你喝不喝酒是两回事儿，是吧？
对，
哎，
You may
这
say
么还
that
有
you
说
don't drink,
我
but
还
this offering is to
哎
your
我还抽
ancestors.
个
It doesn't
中国的
matter
什么
whether
红
you
塔
drink
山
or
的
not.
烟啊，行，买
Or
两
say,
盒
for example,
哎
he used
就
to
这样
smoke.
他已经是亡灵了嘛。
So
那
you
就不
buy some of those
再者呢就
paper
是纸
cigarettes
做的这个衣服，纸做的
and also
棉衣
paper
啊
clothes,
帽子啊、鞋呀，还有
hat,
就是货币
and
钱
even shoes.
就是这
and
个
even
往生
money
的人用的那个冥币。
the money to be used by the deceased. Well, the face values is huge.
因为这个货币贬值哈，也挺厉害的，
通货膨胀在那个地界
这个
也有
10亿可能买2个萝卜而已，就可能有可能了，但那边的货币情况咱不知道。
We don't really know how the currency transacted in that realms, but we do that.
是吧？那你怎么办呢？你还不如多烧点。
So you want to burn more to them, because so that they have more to use.
对呀，对呀。
Because it represents your filial
这些
piety.
孝心的话，这些过年的时候，这些
表达，
穿的、用的，接下来就是吃的。
So things that you eat, things that you use.
那么你一个像我们北方人说，好的最好不过饺子，是吧？
So in the north, we talk about dim sum in the shape of a gold inlet.
这个食物要是熟的哈，除了水果之外。
So except for fruits, the rest of the food has to be
咱们
cooked.
正常人吃的食物是煮熟才能吃的话，你要拿熟食，不能拿生食。
So you must make sure that you bring cooked food, not raw food, except for fruits,
到时候供到那儿。
and offer
一般
that.
坟的话，我们讲就是上了坟的这些食物是不拿回家来的。
So we say that we don't bring home the food.
我们就供完之后再收回来。
Some say that after we offer, we bring
你也
home.
不吃，也叫别人给拿跑了。
If you don't eat, people will take
这个
it,
你就遵循你们
will
当地的
remove
习
it.
惯就好了。
So I think you, based on your local rituals, I don't have specific requirements.
这样子老家很远的，我们遥祭的。
Some says that it's very far. We stay very far from our hometown. We're going to do remote worshipping.
对，遥祭的时候有很多有庄重的和不太庄重的。
There are some formal and not so
你比如说
formal
你们在家里头哈，
pr-
经常
uh,
得放个
ritual.
桌子，
So maybe you just put a table, a
上头
square
呢拿纸
table.
牌儿哈，拿纸盒前头那个纸粘好了，用黄色的纸
You
粘好。
use a yellow
上
color
面写上
onto
好
a
写上
tablet.
比如说高祖什么什么。
Maybe you can write the
你知道
name.
爷爷那个名字。
If you know your
或者你不用
grandparents'
写名
name.
字爷爷张
比如说李氏祖先。
李氏祖先，因为底下有落款啊。这个设供的人有个落款。
You have to write
比
who
如
is
说
the
张小三
offerer.
儿是吧？张氏历代祖先，有落款人呢，就是张小三儿，他知道张小三儿的祖上的，要不然叫别的。
So you have to write the name or the ancestors of the Zhang, and then below you have to put your name so that we know that this is for the ancestors,
收到了。
so that they will receive what you offer.
咱们就说，如果爷爷往生的话，写上爷爷名字比较好。
So if you know the grandpa has passed on, you want to write the name of the grandpa. It's
要
better.
写这个牌儿，这个牌儿也要烧掉。
And you must burn away these paper tablets as well.
是这样子的哈。像我们在烧纸的时候，祭祀的时候啊，至少在烧纸的这个上头有一张纸条，写上它，写上它一起烧。
So we want to write it and burn it together
有收款人、收货人。
because there is a recipients.
对，这样。
There's a senders and recipients is clearly written
可能
down.
遥祭的时候，你那可能没有那么大的隆重，因为那个是真正在祖坟上啊。
So maybe when you do that
在异国
remotely,
他乡
you're
在
far
外地
away.
所以呢，你的摆的这个东西别太丰盛。
So the things that you offer, you don't want to be too much,
尤其你在家里头，
especially when you do it
还有
at
很多地方讲环保
home,
啊，你的食物你不能浪费哈。
because you don't want to
对
waste your
供过了
food.
之后，供过了之后
When you
啊
prepare too
当天
much.
晚上还可以吃。
And if you do it at home, at night you can still eat it.
对，还有你要遥祭的话还上香哈。
And remember, you
我
have
记
to
得
offer
我们在
incense.
家乡上坟的时候也上香。
I remember when we go to the graves, we offer incense.
才把
And if you do it remotely, you should
不
offer
上香也
incense
能
too.
传。上香有一种供奉的意思。
啊，
对对对对。
那师傅呀，这个贡品的就是数量有没有要求？
So is there any like a
这个
number
说法
that we need to be
因为
we
我
need
刚才
to
讲到中国的哲学理论，
to be
他觉得是一
careful
个
of?
天理真正的一个秘密。
So we talk about the Chinese, the rituals
在
we
阴
talk
阳在
about
数字
yin
学上
and
来
the
说的
yang.
就非常清楚哈，大家记住哈。
So you just
单数
remember,
为阳，双数为
single
阴。
or odd number represent yang,
像中国人说八
and
卦，八卦
even
图中那
numbers
个卦象是吧？
represent yin.
比如
So
说
we
阴
talk
爻
about
就是两
the
丈
八卦
中间是
不
空的，
连上的。
对
不连上
So
的。
we have
这是
yin and the
阴爻
yang. The
阳爻
yin
就是
is
单杠
in, if you look at it,
啊，
they
就
are
是这
in
样
the
的。
8 diagrams,
那也
there's
用
no
这个概
link
念呢，就
if
是
it's
在
yin.
钱数还有日期啊等等的都是 这样的双数的为阴。
So remember,
去世的人为阴。
even numbers
等于说是
represent
阴
yin.
间
People
的。
have passed on, the deceased people represent
去世
yin.
了为鬼魂了。
Because they
啊
become
没有这个
spirit
能
or
量了，
ghosts, they
就
lack
是为阴。
energy, they are now
所以
yin.
给这个祖先亡灵
So
哈
when you offer
在
it to
祭
your
祀的时候呢
ancestors,
拿的礼物尽量以
you
双
try to
这个
give
双数的概念。
even numbers.
双数概念，我就说不要用数学家的方式去究竟里头你到底是双数还是单数，对不
But
对？
don't be like a
嗯，
mathematician so
比如说
meticulous with the count.
1.665，请问单数双数就说不清楚了就，哎，就别倒腾死理儿。是吧
Try
大
not
约拿
to
的是
be
双
so
数可以了。
meticulous in that it roughly you know that it's even numbers, like 4 apples, 4 orange,
是
or 2
是是是，
2
这
dim
是20
sums
个饺
in the
子
shape of
对
gold.
这也是
对对
对对对，
好的好的，感恩师傅。
Thank you,
听
Master.
明白了。
听明白了哈。
Now we
对
understand.
三十儿这一天呢，有一个重要的哈，就是祭祖。
对，
So on the
谢谢
30th,
嗯，
there's
大年
important
三十儿
things
除了
that
在
is
团
to
圆饭
offer
之
to
前，晚上的这个
ancestors.
一家人吃饭之前，还有什么要做的呀？
Is there anything that we need to do before we start to eat the
每个
food?
地方不一样哈。
So every
还有的
place is a
是
bit
要
different.
祭拜。
For some place
你家南方称为叫什么？
in the
地
south,
基主，
they talk
土地
about
公
worshipping
土地
and
公。
repaying
土地公
the land
哎，
god.
对，这个土地神的信仰，
This
我
belief
认
in
为
the
是
land god,
挺
Lord
庞
of
大
the
的。
land, is actually quite
从南方北方都有。
quite
祭
massive.
祀
Both the
土地神。
north and the
土地
south
神，
has
对
因为土
this
地神是
belief.
护佑咱们全家平安的啊。
从过去没有楼房嘛，
对，
那你家的房子
In
一
the
定是
past,
以地为
there's
基础
no
的，
是
房子在地上，人一直落在地上，是不是啊？哎，
there's
这个
no
感觉
buildings like
特别
flats.
重要。还有
So
这个
most
土
people
地
live
是会
in a
决定你
house.
家
So
是
it's
否兴
important
旺。
to have
对
this Lord
哎，
of the
土地
land
公
to
爱护
protect
你，
them.
地震都能保护你。
Because
所以的
if the
话，
Lord
这
of
个
the land
土地
loves
对于
you,
人来说
you'll be
是
protected
第
even
一重
during
要的东西。
earthquakes.
对，
哎，对，所以要祭拜土地神。
And that's why it's important for
那这个
us
怎么
to
祭拜
pray
呢？也是
to Lord
上午、
of
下午、
the
上
land.
午。
Is there a
是
specific
比较
timing
阳的时候，
or
不
the
是
young
土地
timing?
神虽然是管你家土地哈，
Although
但是
the
他是正神，
Lord
是
of
别
the
人把它叫
land,
福德正神。
it
福
is
德
啊
正神，
福德
在
正
在
神
古代，
it
还有我
take
看到
care
台
of
湾
your
那边
land,
哈，
protects your
我
land.
看到台湾那个过去到了差不多300年前塑的这
I
个土地
think
公像，
I've seen
上头
Taiwan
就有4个字儿，
about
福德
300
正神。
福德正神，
years ago.
他是神，
It is
而不是
actually
鬼。
he's actually a
对，是
deities.
神。
哎对，
I've
所以
seen
呢就是
they've
敬
written
神
there
是
as
上
a deities.
午，因此呢
就，像灶王爷那
大年
样的。
30的
And
上午，
We
你
have
要
to
祭
offer
祀你
because
家
he is
的
a
这个
deities.
土地神
We
的
have to
话，
offer
是
in the
上午
morning.
哦，
来供。
To offer in the morning.
那师傅啊，有的家可能本身就有供奉这样的土地神哈，它就有土地神的这个龛位哈。那比如说很多我们同修家可能是供着佛菩萨的，
对
But masters, a lot
有
of
佛
our
台有师
practitioners,
傅
maybe
啊
they have
就
Buddhas
是
at
那在
home.
除夕的时候，我们就
And
感恩
Buddhas
佛
and
菩萨、感恩师傅
Bodhisattvas.，
但也想感恩土地公公。
Can we do
就
that
是
if you
怎
want
么样
to
来
have
做这样的
gratitude
仪
towards
式比较好？
Master,
如
towards
果没有，你念念有词也可以
Buddhas。and
好
但是如
Bodhisattvas?
果有形象感的话呢，比如
We
说
don't
你也
have
设
the
个牌
picture,
位
is it okay?
啊，比如说
Well,
后
you
面
can
是纸
also
盒
say
子
that as
啊，
well.
前面贴上一个黄纸哈，
Otherwise,
上头很好的
you want
恭
to
恭敬敬的写上，
write it down
就是福德
and to
正神。
express
哦
your
你也可以
gratitude.
再加俩字儿哈，加仨字儿，福德正神土地神。
好，
You may
啊
want
或
to
者
add a
土地
few
公
words to represent
南方公就是指爷爷
him,
的
to
意思
represent him, to write
对，
him, so
土
that
地
we
公、
want to
土
be
地公
grateful.
公啊，土地神都可以。就这
You
样
can
代
write
替
Lord of
像家里有
the land
佛台的，
If
因
you
为家
have
又
a
比较
Buddha
小，对不
altar
对？
and your
所
place
以
is
在
not too
佛
big,
台的很多人是这样哈，我
a
看
lot
到
of
台
people
湾有
do
人这
this.
样
I
做
see a lot of
上
Taiwanese
面
do
供的
this.
是佛菩萨，
They have
供桌
Buddhas,
下面就有一
Bodhisattvas,
个牌位
and the-
是供这个土地
at
神
the
的，
base,
放
they
在
have
土地神地
a
基主。
Lord of
供
the
桌下
land
面，
at the
在你
base
供的时候
of
那里
the
专门设
altar.
一个供的这贡品，
So they actually
有个
have
贡
a
品的
set
碟子，
of offerings
放上
to
1-2 碟
the
东
Lord
西
of the land
贡品就可以了
as well.
好啊，
啊。
好的好的。
像有家
So
里有
like the
老
two
人的哈
tiers.
他们祭祀土地公呢，还有人是每天上香都有。
Some people even
尤其在
offer
南方
incense every
中国
day,
像福建地区哈，
like in the
这个有
south,
它
like in
这种
Fujian
叫做
province.
一种习俗
They， do that because it is part of the ritual, especially those who have shops. So in front of the shops, they have a very small shrine to offer it to the Lord of the land. And they have pictures. Some of them do that on a daily basis. And so for some people, they do that on the second day of the lunar month and the 16th of the lunar month. They do offerings. Every house has a slightly different ritual. I've seen in our village, they even have the pig's heads offered to Lord of the land. Actually, they don't go and buy, they actually kill their own pigs at home. We don't propagate that. Actually, the Lord of the land eat everything. In the south, if they eat if they are vegetarians, then they will offer to Lord of the land some like cakes and some fruits.
麻薯啊，好像他爱吃绵的、甜的。
台湾人就认为说，土地公公呢，他是爱吃麻薯。
For Taiwanese, they feel that the Lord of the land have certain specific likings of food.
红薯也可以哈。
They may like the sweet potatoes.
对，他都把他当老人看待。
对，是。
They just treat him like an old person.
其实吃点这个不费牙齿的吧。
对，不用牙齿。
So they gave him something, they offer him something that doesn't need to chew a lot. I've seen some movies. A lot of the Lord of the Land tend to be a lot shorter. That's the image. Yes, that is after it was being manifested. Actually, he's not. It's not that he's short.
比如说，你古代打仗的时候，那个脸都是花的，你这分不清到底是人还是妖啊，是吧？
So actually, think about it. In the past, when they go to war, they will paint their face, and you look at them, you're not sure whether they are human beings or they are ghosts.
对，但是土地公公的腿没那么短。
But actually, Lord of the Land, his legs is not so short, and they are not necessarily all.
我们说神性一点哈，我见过的土地公哈，没一个是老人。
Actually, I've not seen an old Lord of the Land.
他怎么会变成老呢？
They will not be old because they are able to live.
才成神了。
They are deities
神的
already.
样子就是老人。
So they have the image of a
不
deities.
是。
Does it mean that they look
有些很多的
old?
神灵哈，
No.
就是20-30岁的
A
样子。
lot of
也
deities,
有
they
的
look
10几岁的
young.
样子。
They look like in their 20s, in their 30s. That's exactly how they
很
look.
少有是老人的样子。
Actually, very seldom
在
do
描
they
述
have the
中，
image
道
of
教
old
三
age.
清之尊哈，有一就是太白金星，他是个老人样，所以很多神灵并不是老人。
Actually, a lot of deities are not old.
长寿的那个是个老人的形象。
Only the longevities deities that has the image of an old
师傅
person.
见过什么样的土地公啊？
我见的土地公，
Master, what type of
我
Lord of the Land
有
have you
些天机
seen?
不能再说哈。
I can't
我看
tell.
到
I
某
can't
些
share
国
too
家，南
much.
方某个国家的
I've seen
那个
some
土地
in the
公哈，
south.
我觉得穿了类似一个洋装，
They wear quite similar to
有点
like a
像西方人翻
Western
领的那
costume.
种，就像西装又不像西装，底下带
Well,
层彩色
it looks like
格纹的这种
Western
衣服，
Western suits.
特别帅，就30来岁，浓眉大眼，非常帅气。
I've seen some that's really good looking in the
个子也
30s.
是高大的。
在天上的，像神一样，他那个，应该说那个头也应该超过1米宽吧？对，他是大个子，拿着
They're
小
big
个子
size.
对，他不是个老头儿或者是矮。
Not the image of an old
我
person.
们长见识了，感恩师傅。
那是通过中国传统的有些小说啊，《封神榜》啊，《封神榜》中有土行孙，他在土地里一说就土遁就走了，只要有土，他就在土。
But a lot of
土中
time,
飞
these
翔
are
就跑
because our impression
由
is
此推
based
论
on
说那个人就是
some of
推的
the stories that we have heard.
在地下头迈不开腿啊，那你认为迈不开腿啊？你是你
And
认为
also
迈不
some
开腿
movies that
其实
may
他
have
不需要
captured
迈
them
腿
with
对不对
certain image
也是大长腿。
that they are short, and that's why that image of the Lord of the Lands left an imprint on your brain, and you just assume that he's an old man and he's short. But in reality, that's not the case. So on the 30th is actually making offerings to our ancestors as well to Lord of the Land. At the night, we'll have our reunion dinner.
对，祭祖不光是就是祭祖，还有土地公公，还要应该去自己的道场啊，对自己常去的佛堂啊，要去拜一拜啊。
接下来前面咱们讲了哈，这个神灵类的第一位是谁呀
？So we talk about who is the first person, the kitchen god and kitchen goddess, right? They are a couple. It's a couple deities.
你供夫妻神，就代表着你呢，也会成家立业。
So when you offer to this couple deities, it also means that you will have careers, you will have marriage, and you have food on the table. And then after that, we talk about a pair of door gods. And then we have Lord of the Land.
中国传统的这样的概念哈。
So the traditional costume, the traditional Chinese beliefs.
多神论。
has a lot of deities.
睡觉那个过去是
Say, for example, you sleep on the place. The place is not a bed, but they used to have like a brick bed. You can't move that away. You can't remove that because it's built. The bed is built on. It's actually brick. So there's also God that protects you. There's also light. There's also light, like deities. There's also cabinet deities. I'm not sure if there is actually bowl god or bowl deities. Say our body, our internal organs. Our internal organs has deities as well. Say for example, if you have you have stomach problems, I will write the deity's name of the stomach, and I will burn it, and with the burnt, and I will chant, and I chant, and let the sick person drink it. The person will recover from it. Because the ancient time people, they feel that all the intestine, there is a deity that lives in it. So why you have stomach problems is because the deities in the stomach is unhappy with you and cause you problems. So if you are respectful, you write the name of it and you burn it, and you put some water and you drink it, it will help you. And all of us have these deities that protect our life god. That's the most powerful one. So at home, there's 3 categories of goddess or god and goddess. You have to offer them.
追求的神灵是啥？对吧？也有信耶稣基督的，也有信道教三清的。
So then you look at what is your own specific main belief. For the Chinese god or Chinese deities, they all change from, they all started as human beings, and through their cultivations, and then they eventually elevate to become deities. There are many different deities in the Chinese traditions and cultures. So there are some people who have individual belief. So after that, you want to prostrate and you want to offer to your main belief. You do that on the 30th of the lunar 12 months. Well, but because every place is a bit different, maybe about 8 p.m. where the whole family have reunion dinner. Some do that before the reunion dinner. They offer to the god. The whole family do that together and make offerings. For some, they do that before, just before the New Year. that moment before the arrival of
祭
the
拜
New
完了之
Year,
后，
and
开
they
始
make
这个钟声到
offerings.
了，哎，12点整那一刻，12点整过了之后就是第二年，
And after
也有这样子的。
the bell
那你看
rings
你们家
past midnight,
是用的哪
it
个时间？
represents the New Year.
总之就是大年30还是要去拜佛。
So
拜
basically,
神
on
的
the 30th
大年
day
初一也
of
要
the
再拜
Lunar
一
New
次，
Year,
对吧？一早上
you
起
want to
来
do
一
that.
般都是哈。
像我妈呢，就是说在我们晚上吃团圆饭，
So for my
就是
mom,
晚
when
就
we
是
have
30
a
晚上那个
reunion
晚
dinner
餐
that night,
哎
that dinner,
像我们家不会，因为那时候在乡下农村的时候，
because we
他
lived
不会说在
in the village.
晚上12点，30晚上12点之前有一餐饭，我们家没有的。
We don't have another meal just
像我
before
们家那个晚
close to
餐就
midnight.
大概就8点多
Our
钟，
dinner usually has,
吃完了
our
之后
reunion dinner
再
is
下
usually
一顿
about
饭
8
啊，就
p.m.
是第二天
The
黎明的时
next
候。
meal will
我
be
们
the
家
New
第
Year.
二天那顿饭吃的比较早，
So we
就
have
到了
that
初
very
一
early.
早晨大约5点钟左右。
We have the
我们要吃
breakfast
早。
about 5 a.m.
啊，
on the actual
为啥呢？
Lunar
古人
New
吃这
Year.
那个
Why?
早晨那个饭呢叫起五经，啊，
对，
起五经也叫，也如果写字的话叫起五更，
啊，
就是五更
It
天起
brings
床，
是
哦，
你越早起早发，
You want to
晚
wake
起
up
晚
early.
发，不起不发。
So you wake up
哎
early,
对，
you
起
will
呀，
have good
起来呀，
fortunes.
太阳
You
每天从
raise
东方起来呀，
because
对
every
不对？
day
对
the
你
sun
蒸馒头，
rays
你的面
from
发
the
起来
east.
呀，
是
So
啊，
if you
对吧？
have
你的事业
buns,
兴旺
you
起来
want to
呀，
do that in the
孩子
morning.
成长起来呀，
Everyone will
这都
wake
是
up.
与起这个字
It
有关系，对不
represents
对？
wake up.
哎，所以的话，哎，
要早起。
我妈就说要早起，
So my mom
就是
says it's
起五经
important to
起来
raise,
之
to
后
wake up
吃
early.
一顿，就是新年第一顿饭就是吃饺子，
And the
啊，
first
叫
meal
起五经，啊，
is
煮饺
to
子吃。
have
但这个煮
the
饺
dim,
子
dim
之
sum, like a
你在
dim sum,
人吃
the
之前一
the
定
dim
先
sum
敬神。你前面说的3类神，还再加上你信仰的这个神，像我们家可能敬了3类神，就是，哎，大概，就是你这都敬到。
It's important for
这些饺
you
子自己
to
先不
pray
能
to
吃，
all the
都敬到，
deities
而
and
且不
God.
吃啊，真供到那里去，真供。那么剩余的部分，
人吃
它是家人来吃，你不是说供一供，一会儿端走了我们吃
So
去
you
吧，这不
offer
行，
them
就
first,
供那儿别动，一
do
供
not
至少3
touch
天
it
以上，要过了初5才行，
and you have to offer it until the 5th
这
day,
样的。
after 5 days
有
of
敬
the
神的那
Lunar
些饭
New
啊
Year.
哎，反正神不会直接拿饺子吃嘛，所以那个放几天之后呢，
So
过
you
了
put
初
that
5
for a few
冬天
days,
如果没有坏，哎，那初5之后，
and if it's not
家人就
spoiled
吃了。
after day 5 of the Lunar New
有
Year,
点啰
you
嗦
can
啊
consume
这
it.
听
听起来
明白了，对，
听明白了
对，
啊，
这个很重要啊。
This is
对
very
敬神
important.
可要敬道啊。
是，
对
要先敬神啊，
就是提醒大家敬神的话呢，你要想得福气，
So
一
it's
定要真
important
诚恭
that
敬，
if you
啊
want
不
to
敢
have good
胡说乱
fortune,
道，啊
you
一定
want
要
to
真诚
have
一定
sincerity,
要真的恭敬，
you want to be
开不得玩笑
respectful.
就是你
It's
家
no
的吉
joke.
凶祸福，在这个过年的这几
Because
天
during
当中
this period,
尤其是敬神的时候，
especially
就
when you
开不得
offer
玩笑，
when you
不能
offer
马虎
to the God, offer
明白了。
it's very important. Offer to
嗯
deities, it is very
那我们
important.
讲了好多，就是春节我们该做的哈，好
Master
事要
talk
多
about all
做，
the
吉
good
祥的
things
事
that
要
we need
多
to
做
do.
哈。
对，
对
all the good
那我们还有听
deeds we
说，
have
就
to
是
do.
说这个春节呀，还有些事好像还是要
But there are
忌
also
讳的
things that we shouldn't do
最
during
好
the
不做
Spring
啊。
festival.
对，就是比如说就是刚才我们说那个灶王爷有那个善惯恶惯哈，那老骂人，老说不好的
We
话，
talk
是
about
春
there's
节
a
的这个
good
几
deeds
件事
part
是就
and a
还
evil
是
deeds
最好
part.
不要做。
So there are some things that
春
we
节
should avoid
春
doing
节尽量
completely.
善良，
Yes, what is important that you want to be kind
说好话，
during the spring
哎，就
festivals.
是坏话
You、
脏
avoid
话、
talk
生气的话不出口
nonsense and
一
do
些
not
字儿
talk
其实老人都
negatively.
跟我们讲是挺忌讳的。
对
嗯
对
不能说死啊、走
So
啊、
avoid
丢啊、
words
破
like
呀
that, illness,
还有什么
death,
没了，
离呀、对
separations,
没了、
inadequacy,
碎了、
碎
no
了
good.
对坏了。
Also
嗯
avoid
对
这
cursing
些都不
others.
说，
嗯
分
负
了
面的哈，对
哎
都不说。
还兄弟之间骂架，那个说难听的话都不允许。
So you're not allowed to say anything
万
bad.
一就是一下子走嘴，没小心说了，
What
赶
if
紧就
accidentally we say something bad?
对
划掉划掉。
就是立
Is
刻
there
忏悔。
something we should, we should repent
对对
immediately?
对，立刻改正。
嗯，
嗯，
那有的小朋友哈，他也是平时骂人骂惯了，
And some children
然后
they keep saying bad
他
words.
就可能就会想问师傅，师傅呀，那我这个得熬到什么时候啊，
And you may
我
ask
才可
Master,
以随
how
便说
long
话
can
呀？
we do we need to
最起
endure
码正月
this?
16之后吧。
Well, you must endure until
但
the
是尽量
16
咱们
days
希望一年
of
都
the
说吉
first
祥的话
lunar
哎
month.
别说气人呐、难
So
听
do
到
not
不吉
say
祥的
anything
话。
bad.
对对，要不然
During
的
the
话，这
first
一
16
年
days.
接下来就不容易了哈。
Otherwise, the
对，
new
所
year
以
will
说
not
好
be
话，
auspicious.
就是恶话、脏话不出口。
You want to
哎
make sure
其
that
实
you do
熬
not
到
管好
16了，养
all,
成习惯
you
了，
only
其实
say
就不
good
想说坏
words
话了。
and
对
do good
就
deeds.
是
好了，
就
Avoid
我觉得管
speaking
好嘴，管好
negatively.
心情。
哎，
Manage your own
但是呢，有
emotions.
时候呢，可能生活中一种必须，尤其是你挺关心的，比如说问你奶奶，奶奶今天吃药了没啊？过年的时候不能说。
But sometimes,
啊，
say
人
for
家说
example,
奶奶
you may
今天
ask your
吃吗
grandma,
可以
Mars,
这么说，是吧？
Grandma, have you
你就不
taken
要
your
说奶奶吃
medicine?
药嘛哈。
You should not
对
talk
别说
about
药啊、
that.
病啊这
You
些
don't
话
talk
奶奶你
about
吃错药
medicine.
了之类的，
哎呦糟糕了
没这事儿千万别说。
对
还有的时候现代人讽刺人说，你又说错话了吧？你吃
say-
错药了。
People will say
你有
that you
病啊
say
你
the
啊
wrong
那
food.
这样
You
说
are
话
you
千万
sick?
别这样说，这
Do
等于
not
骂人，
say such things.
这
You
等
are
于骂人
scolding
哈，这个
people.
话不要说。
Do not say such bad things.
对，因为这个时候就麻烦。
Then you
那
cause
还有
trouble.
一个哈，我只是说提议哈，这
I just
民
want
俗
to
当中提
suggest,
议。哎，如果说真正说身体有病，
if you are
在
sick
吃药过程之中
and you are
自己要
medications
自己斟酌。但是从这个传统的吉祥
from
学
the
说来说，
traditional
过年的时
auspiciousness
候如果
perspective,
30晚上和初一，如果不是特别严重的话，
if
能
it's
不吃药
not
尽量不
serious
吃药。
illness, try not
就是
to
这样。
take medications on the
哎，
first day
那
of the
因为
Lunar
就
New
怕的
Year.
是说，如果你30晚上，因为他接着面临着初一嘛哈，
对
你在吃药的话，就怕你吃1年药。
So you
就
want
怕
to
这个。
avoid
所
taking
以的话，如
medicines
果说你尽量
during
哈
that
这几
time,
天注
otherwise
意
you may end up
别
taking
感冒
medicine
啊，
for
别
the
拉肚子呀，
whole
把自
year.
己这几天先给正常的给
You
安排
just
好
make
处理
sure
好。
that you are well.
你别到过
just
年过节
before
的
the
一忙
Lunar
一
New
急，
Year.
哎，病了又吃药，
哎呦
说真病了又不能不吃，对不对？
对
哎，所以
所以还是要管好自己的健
So it's
康哈。
important for you
对，
to
经常起
manage
见
your
的。
own
对
health.
你的饮食起居哈，
哎，
还
很重
提前要
要
有安排好，
对，
别把自己给吃伤了啊，
Make
到时
sure
候变
that
成
you
不得
are
不吃药
not
就很麻烦。
too tired or you
这个
fall
不吃
sick
药，不
during that
说
period.
不好听的话。还有一个呢，正月里边不理发，就不剪
And also
头
there's
发。
a thing
对。
about
这
should
也
avoid
是
cutting
民
hair.
俗传下
Do
来
not
的。
cut hair in the
是
first
有
lunar
句话
month.
叫“正月剃头死舅舅”，然后也有网友问说：“那我没舅舅是不是就可以啊？”就是也别吧哈。
不知道是谁，就是说你这个反正尽量。
So
如
try to
果
avoid
古人
cutting
都这么
hair
说哈，
in the
我
first
觉得
lunar
都是那
month.
个传承了几千年的
是
This is
就
something
观
that's
察
passed
到
on
的
for a
这
few
个经
thousand
验和智
years.
慧，我们不要呢去抗拒
So let's
和
not
尝
try
试，
to
因为
resist
灾难来的时候，
because
有
when
的时候不一定
misfortune
是想
comes,
在啊，所以这个要小
it
心
may
哈
be，hard for you to
经常不要以
avoid.
身试法的感觉一样
对，
啊。所以正月之前，
So
也就是
during-
过年之前呢，
Before
把
the
头发
lunar
理好
month,
是该
无论男
收拾收
女哈
拾啊
whether
哎
you're a
女
guy
生
or
呢该剪
girl,
头发呢，提前
quickly
去
go
找
and
人
cut
剪
your
啊
hair first.
男生更是这样啊，推的理头发现在又快哈，你别非得等了到了正月，因
Do
为有
not
些
try
孩
to
子
cut
啊
hair
啥都不
during the
在乎
lunar
是吧
month.
这都是老人干的，
老粒儿
都是封建迷信啊，我才不信，你不信，不
Well,
要
you
去
may say that I
尝
do not
试
believe in
你
it.
不想尝试，你不信，你真这么做了之后，可能问题就发出来
But then if you do it,
对不对？
some misfortunes
不
may
听老人
happen.
言，吃亏在眼前。
这样说的，那你说舅舅都没有，那还死谁？你难道希望你亲人死吗？不
Maybe
希
it may
望
bring
所
bad
以的话
luck
就
to the
别做
family.
这个尝试哈。
So try
还
not
是
to
这
do
个在
that.
这个正月之前啊，过年之前就接下来过几天赶上理发就完了，
So during the
哎
next
对
few days,
守着规
quickly
矩
go and cut your
要
hair.
守规矩。
整个正月
Observe
别去理发，一
the
直到
ritual
了2月2，
龙抬头，
哎，2月2龙抬头了就可
所以你
以了。
说这个事儿危险吗？不是说咱们今天讲课的内
So
容这个名字啊，
haircut is
这个新
allowed
年里
after
你不
the
懂的话，
second
有可
day
能引来
of
灾
the
难。
second lunar
咱比
month.
如说正月里头理头， 理了头就死揪这个事儿哈。
So there are something that you shouldn't do during New Year. What if after you do it and then it really means you have misfortune? You will regret for your entire life.
能把自己气死，是吧？
真的。
所以的话，那你旧家的那些你的表姐表哥们，怎么看你
了？
对吧？
跟仇人一样嘛，哈，对，好，这个正月不理发哈，这个还是要去守规矩的。
对对。
然后还有一个就是说是正月从初一开始吧，初一、初二、初三、初四这几天。
So during the first few days of the Chinese New Year, avoid doing cleaning. Avoid major cleaning and do not throw away stuff. Otherwise, you'll throw away good luck. From the fifth day of the first lunar month onward, then you can start your major cleaning.
对，还有就是小孩子有的时候不小心啊，也确实小孩子不小心打碎个东西啊。
Because of accidents, they may break some things. And the adults always say, 岁岁平安 represents that you will be saved every year.
对，那除夕晚上呢，我们也尽量不要早睡哈。除夕我们都有这个。
And during you try to stay up late on New Year's Eve.
那一刻才真正的是辞旧。迎新嘛，哈，
对
，we celebrate on the New Year's Eve to welcome the New Year. It symbolizes driving away evils and disease and hoping for the new year of auspiciousness. When the clock strikes 12, the new year arrives. And during these times, you want to visit and wish the elderly good health, and wish the whole family peace and auspiciousness, and you want to exchange New Year greetings. If you are children in the house, you have parents, you have grandparents.
要不要去看似很传统式的去磕头拜年问好
Do you think it's important for you to offer? Are you important to visit the elderly?
这个时候就讲辈分了。
Yeah, so now it depends on.
那通常呢，最小的孩子
usually the youngest kids
或者也不好意思这么做。
They don't do that.
由这个年长一点的父母亲带头。
Usually the parents will guide them. If you have grandparents, generations.
外公外婆哈，这时候你的父母亲带着儿子。
Your parents will bring the children.
给爷爷奶奶磕头拜年
to go to the grandparents
按照整个礼仪
and follow
孩子们跟你一起说
the same things.
爸爸要说
For example,
一起说哈
the good words.
说爷爷奶奶
They may say grandpa, grandma.
爸爸就说儿子给您拜年了
The father may say
孙子给您拜年了
we are here to wish you good luck for the new year. And they will do 3
这样
bow.
的哈对这时候呢长辈呢通常准备个红包
Usually
叫压岁
they
钱
will prepare the elderly will prepare a red packet.
祝福孩子哈长命久久
It's like wishing the
顺利
children
康泰
good
吉祥如意的
auspiciousness.
就像买路钱一样有点这个感觉就新年保险就是这个意
It's
思
like insurance
他
for
给
the
你这
new
个压岁
year.
钱还不能花也不要拿出来数
And you cannot count.
有红包的话
回去偷偷数
Do not count.
忍不住数也可以嘛但是尽量把这个
Try
通常压在你的床脚
to
上
put at
就是
the
床
bed.
下头或者褥子下头那个岁呀最早的时候压岁钱不是年岁的岁岁是那个鬼鬼祟祟那个岁那个
In the
岁代表
past,
邪气
this represents
压岁钱
to
有意思了
to
吧
try
是
to
这个
ward off the evils,
重要啊
to
很
press
重要
down the
啊
evils. That's very
所以
important.
呢记住哈长辈
Remembers for seniors,
儿子
the
儿
parents,
媳孙子
to give
孙
the
女等等
descendants.
要都给压岁钱
You must give
有
them
人说我儿子
that.
65了
You may say that my son is 65.
还是你儿子
Well, doesn't matter. You want to give to your children as well. If they come to visit you, you have to give them
哎对吧
you have to give them the bread packets.
孙子你别挑长得高矮胖瘦别挑那个一视同仁都给
All
好吧
grandchildren, you have to give them, and you have to say auspicious words.
所以说这个儿孙去
So when they visit the elderly, they also have to prepare some red packets. If they give red packets, it is also important for them to say good things. Try to use red. It must have something red on it. Red packets. It is important to have some design. But you find that for Chinese, it is always red in colors. So it is important for you to bring good gifts to your elderlies. Maybe something that they like to eat, something that they like to wear, something that's practical for them. So you must understand this.
说到这个团圆饭，这个年夜饭，师傅咱们说说这个美食吧。
So maybe we talk about the Chinese New Year delicacies.
这北方的一定要吃饺子。
So the North people will have to eat dumplings.
对对对。
The dumplings in gold ingot shaped. But why do they need to eat dumplings? Well, if we talk about the meanings, because dumplings, it looks like gold ingot. So it looks symbolizes, it looks like, it has the shape of the a boat. So it symbolizes wealth and prosperity. And the shape symbolizes inclusiveness and containing various feelings. It also means that you are broad-minded. What is our feelings that you put inside? We have some cabbage, we have some pork, we have some eggs, we have some chickens. There is no fixed type of feelings for the dumplings. It's a lot of creativities. About 30 years ago, I've eaten something very interesting one. It is actually capsicum typed. I don't know how they was invented. In Qinghai, not many people actually eat dumplings. But actually I've seen some with potatoes, potato dumplings. And there's some oil together as well. When I tried it, it tastes like some sauce. The Italians, they have something like a dumplings as well. Maybe they learned from the people from Qinghai. That's why they added some potato paste, like mashed potatoes type, and they add some like a cheese type. And then when I bite it, I couldn't open my mouth. Very sticky. So dumplings have different types of feelings. It represents that you are very broad-minded and you can accept all things. And the type of friends, any friends or families that you have a lot of tolerance for them. Because dumplings also means magnanimous.
对，因为呀，我为啥这么说哈？我也其实为这个事儿，我也询问过很多人。比如说
I asked a lot of people, like you have 3 or 5 kids. They go to work, and during New Year's, they all come back together at the parents' house.
大哥大姐，我特别想你。
They don't talk about things like, I miss you a lot, I love you a lot. No, they usually don't say this among the siblings. But what they like to say? They like to talk bad about one another. For example, you borrowed some money from me, you haven't paid me back. You took my old computers home, and you took it for 2 years, and you have not returned me. So after that, they end up fighting with one another. So if you have siblings that come together and gather for the New Year, they end up quarreling. And that's why as elderly parents, they become very mad. But they still have to see each other every year. So that's actually not good. So this time, it's good for them to make dumplings and avoid talking too much. If they always quarrel in front of the parents, they are not filial. Because they cause a lot of unhappiness in the family and the parents will not be happy. Actually, during the New Year, they only see each other for a few days, and it's important for them to have good feelings. So if the elderly doesn't have enough respect, then the children will exert some disrespectful behaviors. It will bring unhappiness to the family. If you have a calculative daughter-in-law or son-in-law, it brings more problems to the family. That's why unless a family has a very good. And also, we also eat some fried oil cakes, the savory pastry. We fried a lot of oil cakes. Some of them, they even have some sugary stuff on the top. During the times when people are living in poverty, these are so tasty. I remember we always wait beside the mom to eat this. Well, you see that there are some pictures of those villagers. They fried some of this stuff, savory pastry. We don't care whether it's hygienic or not. We just think whether they are tasty or not. When I think about it, I still remember the good taste of it. There's also something that's very important is that people eat rice cakes and fa gao. In the South, people eat a lot. Why do we want to eat that? It's this fa cake. It's a little bit like. But why do people eat cakes? I think it has good meanings. It is like what I mean. It's like raising up. It's growth. It's getting better and better. People will go up, water will flow, and you have better career prospect as well. You have higher salaries as well. So for our practitioners, Bodhi practitioner will elevate even more. And that's why we become better and better. But the best is you don't have high blood pressure. So that's why we need to eat rice cakes and fa cake because we want to have auspiciousness. It also helps to enhance our energy. Because during the springtime, it is still quite cold. We want to have more energy. So that's why we want to eat some of these. So you try to avoid drinking cold water. We drink our poor tea. Yes, because the rice cakes is a mix of glutinous rice, so it may not be so good in digestion. So it's important for us to drink Bodhi pure tea. It will help to manage the three highs, like high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and hypertension. So after you eat the rice cake, you have some Bodhi pure tea. It helps to get rid of the oil from our body. So we talk about people that eat a lot of fried food, fried oil cakes. So the problem is when you eat too much fried food, the energy is transformed and you start to have pimples because it's quite heaty. So what do you do? So you drink raw pure tea. But Master, you don't really introduce the raw pure tea. Maybe Master, this is 2016, so it's actually aged raw pure tea. It's not easy for people to absorb the raw pure because the caffeine is very high content. Too high, the caffeine level is too intense, and it's too cooling in nature. So some people may feel a little bit of the heart will have hyper heart rate. So that is Bodhi pure. This is the raw. It helps to reduce heat, and it helps with clearing the pimples, and it helps to get rid of oil. You can actually put this and on the face. It can help with the face for facial with this, especially at night before you sleep. You do not want to have any oil on the face. So to get rid of the oil on the face, you use a white towel, put warm water, and on this pure tea, and you just wipe the face. You get rid of it, and after you clean it, you find that your face is so clean. It's much better than a mask, because sometimes the mask absorb a lot that were not necessary. So that's why it becomes blackheads. So this raw pure tea will help to get rid of the oil from the face. Let it clean after that. Whether is it dried, why don't you just let your face clean and let the pores breathe? Do not immediately try to add on more stuff on it. No. You want to allow the face, the pores, to free up. The best is after you do this, you do not put anything on the face. Just leave it clean. Allow it to breathe. Remember this. Then you'll be beautiful. Even for the eyes, you can use the warm tea and just place on the eyes and gently place on the eyes. Why? It helps to get rid of the heatiness in the body. You may have vision problems. You want to do this as well. And you may want to drink 2 cups of it. Use this on your face, apply this on your face, you will feel clear. You feel that your skin is extremely cleaned.
最佳美容，
就是这么好，
内肤外肤都好。
这个就讲这么多吧。
好，感恩师傅。
生普洱啊，我们又认识到了。
对对对，尤其是我们吃的油过多的时候。
So this is especially good for us when we have eat too much oily food.
我们这个有几年了哈。
So this is in 26. It's 8 years, 2016. So this has been kept for 8 years. So it's actually very good. If you keep it for a few more years, it's even better. It can clear the liver fat, the fatty liver, and help to reduce the tree high. We also have this 8 treasure rice. Because there are some glutinous rice involved. We also have peanuts in it. These are soft, sticky, and sweet. It symbolizes family reunion, sweetness, and prosperity, having children and generating wealth. Because they have lotus seeds, which symbolizes marital harmony, and red dates represents early childbirth, and they have peanuts represents a lot of children. And there are also some nuts as well. It symbolizes many children and blessings. In the Southeast Asian, they have this thing called Pencai, which is a dish with combinations of meat, vegetables layered in the basin. It represents family reunions and fullness, with radish slices, tofu chunks, winter bamboo shoots. There's some mushrooms, arrowhead, and broccolis, etc. So they use a basin to keep it. It's like the whole families will gather it together to eat this. It's good meaning. And also in Southeast Asia, they have this thing called lo hei. This is a very unique Chinese New Year food in Malaysia and Singapore. It's usually eaten on the 7th day of the Lunar New Year. It carries the meaning of prosperity. And when people toss, they will say prosperity repeatedly. It picks up. So there are a lot of vegetables in a plate, and then they will toss it with a chopsticks. It is. So because it's actually more of seafront or beachfront type of culture, they raise step by step, or they mean surplus every year. Because basically at the end, they just like to have more fortune, prosperity as you toss. So on the 7th, why is it on the 7th day? Because 7th is a good auspicious meaning. It means raise step by step. So it all represents good meanings, which all symbolizes health and good luck. So what we want to also remind everyone that it's important for us to eat food, healthy food during the Lunar New Year. So we talk about the pu'er tea, the raw pu'er, and aged pu'er, the ripe pu'er that will help with helping us to get rid of the fattiness in the body. And we also have this fat-burning pickled garlic that aids in digestions as well. So Master, this teapot is really beautiful too. This green is beautiful. This is our new products, is it, Master? Are you drinking the right or the raw pu'er? It's the raw pu'er. Can I drink at night? I can drink at night. So I think it depends on your own individual habits. So for raw pu'er, if you can drink tea, you drink in the morning or by midday. For evening or at night, try avoid drinking tea. But some people are very sensitive to tea. So even if it's ripe tea, they also have reactions. They can't sleep well at night. But if you drink Bodhi tea, we have been drinking this for 10 over years, it's very effective. We can even drink in the afternoon. It doesn't affect the sleep. So for raw pu'er, try to drink it before 2 p.m. Try to drink it before 2 p.m. For those that has no effect, where tea has no effect of them, you can drink it any time. Actually, pu'er tea is still very, very acceptable by not only just the Chinese, but by the Westerner as well. Because we have a lot of new people here today, let me talk a little bit more about pu'er tea. Actually, for pu'er tea in China, in the Greater China area, it only becomes popular in the last 20 years. And partly it's because of me that brings it. Because I find that fermented tea, pu'er tea is a fermented tea in Tibet, in Xizang areas. In Tibet areas, they don't have tea at all, tea plantations, because there's no tea trees. But the local people in the Tibetan areas, they eat a lot of meat stuff because of lack of vegetables in the highland. So that's why they need to have something that will help in their digestions, that will help to balance the meat eating. So if you look at China, Mongolia, in Tibet, you find that they need to have tea every day because they need to help in their digestions. And they need fermented tea, which is like what we mentioned, the pu'er tea. If you use color as a form of differentiation, it is red tea, it is also considered as black tea. Younger pu'er tea is considered less aged, then it's red in color. Otherwise, it becomes more fermented and more black in color. So in Guizhou, China, in Zhejiang, in Sichuan's province, the areas, they have tea. During that time, maybe only the local people from the province will order the tea. If you think about it, the tea itself, tea leaves itself, is actually just leaves. And if you dry the tea, and if you were to, when you packed it as a loose leaves, it's huge, right? But if you can press it and you can pack it, you can condense it and more. But later on, people start to realize that the fermented tea, if you age longer, it does not get spoiled. In fact, it has more aroma. It tastes better. So if you look at certain teas, like green teas, you can only keep for 2 years. After you kept for 2 years, the taste is different. So you end up, a lot of people, they end up throwing tea after they kept for a few years. So if you are a tea sellers, and if you have green tea, you can only keep for 2-3 years, and after that your products will come to waste. But for pu'er tea, you can keep it for very long because they are packaged such a way that the longer you keep it, it's more aged and it's more fragrant, And as a result, it becomes more well-liked and more popular. And the first benefit is that it will not be spoiled. The longer you kept it, it will be more valuable. And it's very easy to store. Because in the past, the leaves are stored as loose tea leaves and it takes a lot of space. But now, if you look at pure tea, it is the way that it's being packaged, it is actually like a brick forms, and you can keep it for a long time. During the time when I started to drink pure tea, a lot of people drink green tea. But now, a lot of people have changed their behaviors and they start drinking pure tea. Last time, they used it in the brick forms, the tea in the brick forms. So they even have the loose 20% of it is actually the loose twig that's packed together with the tea leaves. Because those are items that nobody wants. So the sellers is that they put together and they sell to those regions that's like Tibetan areas. But later they realized that this is a type of treasure. So because of the processing, it becomes treasure. So now a lot of people start to do it. So that's why now we recommend this tea to you again. So definitely the tea helps with reducing the tree high, reducing the blood pressure, and it also helps with digestions. But green tea, it helps to clear. It clears the liver, the fatty liver. It is very effective. Yes, no side effects. So I highly recommend you this. So yes, there are two types of pure tea. They have raw pure and ripe pure. It definitely helps with clearing the intestines. So during the festive period, even if you don't want to eat oily food, you still have to end up eating them because it's just part of the festive periods. So that's why I highly recommend you to drink pure tea. Not only just for you to drink, it's also for your elderly or your friends. You can also give this to your friends. And the other one that's a good gift will be the tea sets. It's so beautiful. Well, it represents us prosperity. It also represents harmony in the family. It gathers good fortunes. It's very beautiful and so if you give the pure tea and you can give this, you have huge blessings by masters. This togetherness, there are different types of teawares. It is very practical. You can get from these are all actually in Yin, and you can pick as many teapot as you like, and there's also the cup as well. I think today all of us benefited greatly from Master's talk about what are the important things to watch out for during the spring festivals. And we talk about the kitchen god, kitchen goddess, the couple deities that we need to pay respect and offer to. There is also the door gods. And also we now have the new spring couplets. And it's important for us to change it. And also it is also an important time for us to make offerings to the god or the deities that we believe in. And for our Bodhi practitioner who believes in Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, if we have a meditation center, it is important for us to gather at the center to prostrate to Buddhas, to Bodhisattvas, to receive the blessings and make offerings, and also make light offerings during this period. Even have the Jade Emperor that's sending the deities down to look at all whether we have done some merits. So this is a good time for us to do that, because the 2024 is the year of the dragons. And Master did say that there are a few horoscopes that needs to pacify the Tai Sui god. So if you have not offered the Tai Sui god lights, you can come to our meditation center to make the offerings, or you can even go to puticollege.com to offer the pacify the Tai Sui god's lights. We also have the 1,000 arms and eyes Guanyin Bodhisattva gilding and blessing, which you can do that as well. Especially in the year of the dragon, Master have reminded us that they will be able to protect those who needs to seek the protections of Tai Sui God. And Guanyin Bodhisattvas will bestow us with all prosperity and all auspiciousness. And everyone who would like to have good fortune during the new year, so we also have the offer. We can also have light offerings during the spring festivals period. So it is very important to make offerings, light offerings. During the festive period, it is important that we want to do that. So during this time, it's important for us to accumulate merits, so that we accumulate enough merits energy, and with Master's blessings, we'll be able to achieve auspiciousness. Master, we talk about there's a good deeds pot and a bad deeds pot. But I see, Master, you have this pot. Can you help introduce this to us? Yes. So the new year is here. So we have the kitchen god, kitchen goddess that has a pot. Look at this pot. Look at this size. This is not very big. It looks a little bit squarish and a little bit round. The top is a little bit big and the bottom is a bit round and a bit. This is a very special jar that makes of porcelain. The image there. So this is actually five colored. During the Ming dynasties, it is actually a very developed porcelain making during that era. So to have green, you want to have blue, you want to have that color, but a lot of time you can't get the color. Because when you put into the kiln to burn it, you may not get the color that you desire. You can assume that, you can understand that it's like glass glazed. So after high temperature, the dragon will not look like a dragon, a phoenix will not look like phoenix. It is very difficult to burn because first you will change the color and secondly, you will change the shape. And if the temperature is slightly wrong, the jar itself will change its shape. And if you look at this shape is so difficult to make. And the color is so perfect. If it's red color, it's the color of your desire. So the success rate is 1%. If there are 100 jars and if there's one that can achieve this level of details and perfections, then it's very good already. This is belonging to the royal families. And if you look at the below, well, it has this Ming Dynasty, show that Ming Dynasty. This is Wanli Emperor, the emperor. And the pictures here is 5 colored dragons and phoenix jar. If you look at every side, look at this dragon. This is a green color, greenish blue. Can you see the color? During the Ming dynasties, the dragon is actually more like a relief. And it's like standing upwards. And if you look at the blue, you can see the phoenix, dragons and phoenix there. What does that mean? It means auspiciousness. It also represents the yin and the yang in harmony. What does it mean in a family? It means that the husband and wife has unity. It can represent husband and wife in harmony. So they have the yin and yang, the alchemists. It represents longevities. It also represents the guy, the husband and wife. The husband is a dragon and the wife is a phoenix. And the phoenix, if you look at the tail, it has green, red, blue, yellow, and green. If you look at the wings, it is reddish in colors. If you look at this side, if we change to another side, oh, now look at the dragons. The dragons change to a red dragon. And look at this side. What's the color of the dragons? It's green dragons. And what about the other side? It is a bit of red and yellow dragon. Do you know what it means? It means the 4 dragons, dragon kings of the 4 seas. It represents all avenue. It represents the world. It represents balance for completeness. From the Taoism practice, it represents the auspiciousness of the dragons and the phoenix. It will receive the blessings of the heavens and earth. Then it will be able to achieve the deities level. So there is actually a very deep meaning. So the Wanli Emperor, he was a practitioner of Taoism, and he practiced Taoism for 30 years. This is something that's very difficult to make, because to carve this is very difficult. So what they put inside is the pills, the longevity pills. So actually a lot of time, people think that the longevity pill is bad things. No, it's not. In the ancient time, the Taoist priest, in their development of the longevity pill, they learned about how to use the metal to make into a very sturdy weapons, and that's caused the development of the brass era in China. Actually, what is placed inside the jar is not spoiled easily. When you have a ceramic jar, you can keep it for more than a month. In the ancient times, how do they make the pills? So they actually have a wax, the inside, in the inner side. So there are like 2 layers. The outer layers is waxed so that it can kept for a long time. Earlier time, the peel, the cover is actually honey. They use honey as 1 layer to cover so that it will not be spoiled easily. And outside the honey is actually waxed to seal it up. They use wax to seal up the peel. So this is during the Wanli era. Maybe he used this to make a longevity peel. So this represents power, wealth, and longevity. So I want to show some of this to you and hope that those who have the affinity will be able to invite this back to receive longevities, together wealth. And it represents the 5 colors, and it represents all areas, and you have auspiciousness all around. Well, if you have a job and you are doing a great career, what does it mean? It means that the career in the house will be able to spread far and wide. If you have a product, your products will have global reach. That's what it means. It represents the career, the business will expand far and wide, will be successful in it. So there's this meaning that comes with this jar. Thank you, Master. This is a very special, unique design, and that's why if you look at, there are some corners, and the corners is made very uniquely, and I hope the one with auspiciousness will be able to invite this home. And look, now Kunti wearing a hat, a red hat, auspiciousness baseball hat that designed by Master. The words we have not used before is just the pronunciations of JinBodhi. So we have the blessings of masters. It is some cotton. So it's very comfortable. It's 100% cotton. And you can even adjust the size accordingly. There's adjustable stripes. What is the one that you have, Jason? This is a bucket hat. This bucket hat is good too. We tried before. When the hat, the edge is a bit bigger, you'll be blown away. But this size is just nice, and you'll be able to block the sun. You can wear this to practice energy bagua, to go on the. When you're traveling, it's good too. It's very fashionable as well. It's a good gift. What about the purpose? You look at the. If you look at inside, I even have a compartment that you can put credit cards and the car key. This is my design. So inside, in the inner side, if you turn around, you will see that there is a hidden inner pocket and a pen holder as well. You just flip the inner side, and take a look. Can you see it? Yes. And the design is so good that there's no zip, but it will not come out. If you put cash, if you put card, it's fine. You will not be dropped. It's very, very convenient. And outside, you can even, outside the JinBodhi mark, you can even place a pen there. It's purposely designed this way, so it has new functions.
JinBodhi 金菩提，英文的，对。
对，所以这用这个名字比较少哈，这边还有字呢。
对，这个。
And that's also make life meaningful.
生命有意义。
对，对，我希望让生命有意义。
感恩师父的。
Thank you, Master.
所以呢，做就是2款帽子，对，给这个特别需求的人哈，这我也是给大家介绍一下而已，但是放上去很快就没有了，因为
数量不多，
因为我做的东西它都不多。
Actually, I just introduced you to you. We don't have. I'm sure that very soon it will be out of stocks because I don't try to make many. Maybe the next time we have is a different design. So for 2024, these are the 2 designs. This is the design. You just think our things, are they good and effective? Yes, they are of good qualities. Some of our suits, our Bodhi earlier suits, well, last time you need 1,000. The branded jackets is about. It's quite expensive, but the zipper couldn't pull up properly. So because of my bad experience, when I designed any suits, I make sure that the zipper will work. So I have high expectations and I make sure that the quality, we have good quality. And that's why our product is not valued very low as well. But because we have good quality products. But if you find, what you will find is that we have value for money products. Thank you, Masters, for giving us this promotions in the Tibet. If we spend 500 from today onwards, if you spend to 500, and you will receive a special gift, and that is a lucky wealth coin blessed by Grandmaster. And that is the Canadian dollars, $2. What's the purpose of this wealth money? You can gather it and put inside in your purse, in your wealth jar, and you will bring infinite wealth to your family. You will bring infinite wealth. And for those that invite 280 and above tanka, any one of this, you will receive Master's dragon calligraphy painting. This is a dragon year. So we hope that this dragon that Master writes is so beautiful. You can sense that this is the dragons flying up. The energy will bring auspiciousness to career, to all aspects.
像今天我们背后的这一幅画《芦苇家园》也是师父最近比较新的哈。
And behind me is this painting, and it's also this home by the reeds is also available in Tibet. It's very beautiful as well. It brings good fortunes, bring harmony to the home.
好，那师父我们也跟大家讲一讲春节期间我们的直播的一些内容跟活动。那这个就迎来了我们网友最欢迎的啊，就是在新年的时候。
So on the New Year, we have some activities as well.
请教自己的命运。
They will be able to have opportunity to come and ask masters to help to guide in the divine lots. So those will be available during the Chinese New Year period. On the first day to the 5th days of Lunar New Year, we will have a few live broadcasts. So you watched our YouTube and Facebook. How do you have the opportunity to help to seek masters? Help to do the fortune and oracle readings? So there is this registration form. You just put your own information in it.
一些反正报名表上要求的我们都尽量的。
And all the information is required. You try to answer try to fill into registration forms. But every time when you seek oracle reading, seek one oracle lord, one divine lord. And whichever one that you pick, that is from the divine.
抽签的一些准备呀、仪式呀，我们也在报名表上都有给大家标注。
We also highlight to you some of the rituals or practice to observe before you seek your divine lords.
希望能够得到师父的指导。
太好了。还有一件事情也是，因为我们刚才讲到说，在新年来临之前都要去敬拜我们自己信仰的佛菩萨哈。
And also we also mentioned that during the New Year it's important to worship the Buddhas or God that we believed in.
方方面面的原因可能造成不便哈。
But some may have difficulties to do that.
我们有一张报名表
That's fine.
你就把你起
We
的
have
内
a
容
registration
起的名字
form
填
as
上
well.
来啊，
If
用小
you
名
can't
用这个化名都是 OK 的
have your
佛菩萨
name,
都认得是你。 那我们呢会在
in the
师父
prayer
所在的
registration
坛堂
list,
会把这个名字这些祈福的名单都供奉在佛
we will
前
place this list
会给
before
大
the
家
Buddhas
做免
at
费
the
的祈
center
福感恩师父的
so
慈
that
悲
we'll be able to seek the blessings during this period.
就是我提醒一下呢，就是春节期间哈。
I just want to remind that during the spring festive periods, on the 1st to 5th, we probably have a
消灾开运解签的内容。
a few fortune and oracle reading live broadcasts. After you fill in the registration form and send to me, your information, you must write your real name. If
需要化名也可以，照片如果不必要，我也可以不公开。如果照片能公开也行。
if you can let us show your pictures, do let us know.
你的一个大概命理。
I'll be able to calculate for you.
比如说你适合的职业。
Maybe the job that's suitable for you.
比如说婚姻适合配搭的。
Maybe your marriage
你的这一生的财运如何
and your wealth,
智商如何呀
your ability,
还有结几次婚呐
how many
多大时候去世啊
marriage, what year you will pass on.
都含在里头。
Maybe it's all
但是
within
我
that.
算呢就是不客气的，因为上
But
天给的这个
I will not be very polite in terms of my
你
comments.
不要害羞呢，就不要发。
So if you are a little bit shy and you don't want to share
我
with
就
the
不公
public,
开哈。
you will not want, you do not want to share with
但是
everyone,
如果我抽空的时候
then
我算好了之后，把这个我算出这个结果呢，可以发信给你。
so
这个
if
发
you
信
don't
是
want
通过
to
电子信件，就是网上电脑的这个信件发给你。
So if you don't want to openly share,
这个是
then
也
you
是可
can
以的
send to me, and when I
但是
have
得抽
time,
空
then I will be able to come to you and give you your answer. But it will not be like something that will be shown during the live broadcast that I'll be able to answer to you instantaneously.
啊，个性怎么样，收入情况怎么样，智商倾向是哪一类？啊，比如适合做工程师啊。
I'll tell you whether you're good to be an engineer
做部长啊。
or you're good to be a minister, or I'll have that level of details to share with you.
脸皮厚一点
But
啊
if you are
不
not,
害羞的
if
人
you are
比较可以
shy, then
因为我
probably
们说是不留情的啊。
you don't want to do this registration form because I'll be very honest and with you, and I will share whatever that
那就是我们算出来真实的结
the
果。
divine
这个佛菩萨
what the
神明
divine
启
tell
发
me
我的，好就是好，不好就是不好。
well, if it's good, it's
不会
good. I'll share
不
with
会
you.
说
If
你
it's
是
not
谁
good,
我
it's
说你
not
好
good.
不好
It
或者
doesn't
你对
matter
我
who
真
you
的
are.
印象
I'll just
好
tell you what's the
我印
feelings
象
that
不好
comes
说
to
你
me.
不好嘛，你这个是天都不乐意的哈，就是我们有自己做事的原则。
We have
这
certain
些不可以
philosophy.
撒谎啊，所以的话呢，就是说，如果说的你好与不好，你要有这个承受力
You，must be able
啊
to take
你
it.
才可以说我的信息是可以公开的，可
Then
以拿公开讲啊。
you will.
但是如果你是化名是可以，
But if you
但是
don't
你的
use your
生日
real
时
name,
间不可以改。
you can use your so-called your
没错
nickname.
你生日时间改了
But
就不是
you
你了
cannot change
这
your
明显才
birth
是
date
假
and
的
birth
不是我
time.
啊对。
我们在佛菩萨面前还是要真诚，还是
要
So
要
before
真实
Buddhas
对
and Bodhisattvas,
但是我
we
们的目
want
的
to
呢，
be
希望给你来
sincere.
指导哈，
对
能让你今年或未来更好。
My intention is to
这
help
是
to
我们
provide
所
you
期望的
guidance
那个结果。
对，
so that you have a
要
better
消灾开
future.
运嘛。
没错，
对，
啊
这两个 个关键字。
其实命运不管知道不知道，都是已经就是会这样去发展的。但是有机会得到师父的指导，提前去做一些化解呀、开运的方法，其实才是最好的。
So if you have opportunities to receive Master's guidance, it's actually good.
对自己对未来的这个想法哈，在宏观的感觉上说，我长大我就厉害了，或者我长大我就发财了。
If there are some youngsters who believe that when they grow up, they will be good, or if they grow up, they will be able to make lots of money. This is all their own belief. Maybe I look at you, I'll tell you that what you are suitable, so that you don't have to take a long path. So that would be good, isn't it? Some people in their 40s and 50s, they still haven't found their own directions. Well, if you can't find your life directions in life, you have difficulty finding a life partners. There are some people, they have difficulties finding their life partners.
相仿的女生哈，都说我要嫁个刘德华，对不对
？People of your era, Jason, they all want to marry Andy Lau, right? Yes, the whole world of ladies about that age groups all want to marry Andy Lau. But he is a well-known artist. There's no way you can marry him.
你的男人也有他自己的福气，对不对？所以你不能非得照着刘德华那样的找，是不是啊？那让你失望。
You do not want to seek only just Andy Lau, otherwise you'll be disappointed. You must look at yourself. Do you think Andy Lau will accept your look? That's the reality. That's a fact. Different people, different youth has different actor or actress that they liked. But you must face the reality. And that's why the youth, they definitely need people like me to provide them with some guidance. So let's talk about the next live broadcast. The next live broadcast is February the 3rd, 10 a.m.
亚洲台北时间就是周日了哈，是2月4号。 上午10点，周六是北美温哥华时间2月。
Okay, it's actually Asian time, February the 4th, 10 a.m.
再见的时候，最后一刻我的提醒哈，这个龙年。
I just want to remind you again that in the year of dragons, there are some who needs to pacify. So there are some that born in the year of dragon, dog, the rabbit, and ox. You want to make sure that you have something red. When do you start to wear? From now. From now, you want to start to wear red until the next spring. It's better for you. This is the basic requirement for you. I think it will bring you more good fortune. Wishing you all auspiciousness, wishing you happiness, joy, and see you during the next live broadcast.
人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，了解生命的真谛，修行的意义。因为有了你，日子犹如彩虹般美丽。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。我快乐了，我美丽了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，